Hello everyone and welcome to Championship Sunday, the checkmate event of 2025 here, Thailand Super Series. And the English language coverage team, you can see Goody on the ground, not in his usual fancy clothing down and on the grid walk today. I think he's doing all his best to try and stay cool and breathing. And how good do the Thailand Super Series Racing Spirit shirts look from the merch stands over in Buriram. And it's the final race, day number 3. In the Buriram district of Thailand and the Chang International Circuit. A little bit of rain on Friday made qualifying in the first races of the weekend a touch difficult. As it's continued on though, the weather has come to us. This is going to be the final race for the year in your Thailand Super Eco Championship. And from here, we are deciding champions right the way through till 5:05 p.m. tonight. Local time. Scott Rankin and Dan Yeaman to bring you the coverage from right around the world. This is Aniki bin Hafifi, who's right up at the pointy end of the grid here today. And Dan, well, that sun is back out, and we do wonder, as always, whether or not that weather will sweep in later on.
Well, maybe, Scott. Yesterday it was all sunny, and even on Friday, when the racing actually kicked off when we covered the Friday races, all sunny, no sign of any rain out on the track there, mind you. So, and again, it is Thailand, and we occasionally do get curveballs with the weather. At the same time, most of the time it feels like we've come to Buriram. It's been pretty orderly and dry. It's really been when we go to Sepang down in Malaysia that the weather throws a curveball. But look, one last day of the year, as you said, who knows? There might be something up in the cards.
Yeah, this will be the important one as well, as everyone gets set. How crisp do the shots look over there at the moment? Touch of breeze, keeping the banners flapping and flying around. Goody will move across and have a little bit of a chat with the driver off of the other side of the front row. Sorowich Samai has been reasonably quick and distant here from the Chang International Circuit. On the go-away races, that pace is sort of eked out just a little bit, but he's quick and he's confident here and back on the front row. And how good does the custom design helmet look? That looks like somebody's had a tack of that helmet with marker. That is definitely an improvement over a plain white helmet.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's definitely can see the hand-drawn elements that one there. But hey,
that's cool.
Yeah, if the shoe fits, and also, you know, get creative and enjoy it for what it is. But yeah, drivers now on the grid for this first race of the day. Thailand Super Eco, as you said, Scott, their final race of the season. And going to kick off the morning here, at least morning in the circuit. For you and I, it's both afternoon already, but nevertheless, a couple of sprints to get things underway, and then our real heavy hitter races in and around the lunchtime break. And then Boss, it's not necessarily got the highest profile drivers, the biggest fields, and probably the best competition to round out the day with the super pickup at the end of it, coming back to a 12-lap sprint. But yeah, for those, if you haven't missed it, if you missed yesterday's coverage or missed any of our coverage of Super Eco, 12 laps, 30 minutes. That's all we're going to have in these guys today. But Scott, with the lap times around 2 minutes, that should mean we see them out on track for around 25 odd minutes of that 30-minute session. So safety cars, if we get multiple, may mean we run out of laps or time before we get to 12 laps.
Will be time certain. So if you're watching along at home, race scheduled to start at 9:25 local time, and at the moment it is 9:20. So about six or so, 5.5 minutes left to go before we will fire off for this one. And race must be finished within half an hour, at which point it is time certain. 12 laps supposed to be the distance here today. We'll see if we can get through all 12 with a little bit of safety, without a safety car intervention whatsoever. I can tell you that the 98 machine of Chinovich Romyanon came into the final round of the season, and looking at the final 3 races, with races all the way back on Friday as well. For the categories that actually didn't take off and get to participate in races at Sepang, they did end up having 3 race weekends. So 2 race weekends of 3 races. I believe it was the street circuit round in the middle of the year that was under the 2 races for some of the categories as well. So the ability to have ourselves an 8-race championship here. 2 races across the weekend, but Chinovich did come in with a 23-point margin in terms of championship. But Sorowich Samai was on the front row of the grid, and that's the big one for me, because he's only 3 points ahead at the start of the weekend over Ronnie Risman and Vongsapat Katsiri. That's a dead heat for third spot coming into the final weekend, and Boontavi in the 56 entry was only a couple points further back. So this championship is going to come down to the wire, and I'm going to have to go and do some digging on race results across the weekend as well to get some updates.
Yeah, well, big thanks to everyone at the track for Thailand Super Series. They have given us those race results and information, the official documentation for that, so we can pick through that here as we get ready. But what we might do, Scott, even perhaps we'll sort of maybe even do a bit of that preparation now whilst we maybe hear a little bit from Goody on the grid, whilst he'll be speaking with most of the drivers in Thai. Maybe a little bits and pieces you can pick up here, folks, whilst you're listening along. So perhaps you and I, we might step back for a couple of minutes. We might grab that information so we can talk about the championship in this final Super Eco race. Because don't forget, there's both there's overall championship bragging rights, the Class C Plus championship bragging rights, and the Class C bragging rights too. So there's even layers upon layers here in Thailand Super Eco. So how about we take a moment? I'll just turn down the music, turn up the track feed, and we'll be back and we can talk more about those important championship considerations here.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I can confirm, I've just been digging through the points, that Chinovic, who's our championship leader, came into this round with 66 points, has not put results on the board thus far this weekend. Critically, Sorowich Samai is actually off the front row as we go back through the grid as well. So this championship's actually going to come back down. The strongest driver from the results this weekend, with 2 podiums from the 2 individual races, is actually going to be that of the 33 entry. Vongsapat Katsiri scored 12 points in race number 6, and I believe scored 15 points for second place yesterday. So he scored 27 total points. He comes into this last race of the championship with a 1-point margin over the 98 car. Just based on some quick head math, Ronnie Risman I'm not seeing in good racing results. Finished 6th in race number 7 yesterday, but the race from Friday, again, that'll be the issue. And Roddy Risman was tied there. Sorowich Samai hasn't scored a boatload of points either. So I think coming into this one, by our quick calculations, Vongsapat Katsiri has the championship lead, and it will come down to who is going to win it out on track, I think, from this final race of the season. Gridding and our formation lap will be off and away here in a few moments. We've got an opportunity to drag ourselves down through the field as we're going through the last couple of drivers at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take a moment to sort of verify the comments you're making, Scott, and I would 100% agree that Longsback and Siri came into this weekend on 40 championship points. And a pretty wild second. He has 2 race wins, 1 disqualification, and 2 results with no points, and has come back to rebound. And based on Friday's and yesterday's race results, does indeed sit on 67 points, which puts him ahead of Cinovic, who has currently scored 0 points this weekend. So it is a 1-point battle for the title. Other drivers.
Sorowich actually finished in 4th spot yesterday as well, which is worth noting, in 4th spot. So he's got 2 sets. It's really, really
2
tight.
4th place finishes, yeah.
So that's 20 points for him. He's on 63. So to give you, walking into this one as we go through the tyres, your championship battle currently is Vongsapak at Siri on 67 points, Cinovic Romyanon on 66 points, and Sorowich Samai on 63 points. There is Ronnie Risman, who is there and on 56 points, but he would need those other 3 cars all to have poor finishes, and he would need to win for my liking. And the big thing is, have a look at Sorowich Samai. This is the first time he's actually been ahead of Vongsapak at Siri this weekend. So those are your 2 guys to keep an eye on. Aniki Bin Hafifi, Sorowich Samai, Vongsapak at Siri. Varanchit's going to be out of 5th spot. Ronnie Risman is out of 6th spot, still in the title hunt. Narinapath is 7th. Nick Teo is going to be off of 8th spot. Adapon in the B-Quik entry from Panchar rounding out your top 10. Natnan from Firanat going to get us back to row number 6. From row number 7, when we roll over the page here in just a few moments, is going to be that of Patera Hani, and sitting in out of 14, Sripakul and Cinovic. Look at how deep in the field the 98 entry is. He's had issues with that car this weekend, at least on the Friday, not being able to make a whole bunch of spots. Yot Bonchu out of 17th, Ridwan out of 18th in the 14th entry, Mataya from 19th, Kazuo in 20th. 3 more drivers to take the field. Rapat Korn off of 21st, Adele Lu out of 22nd, and Buntafi Najit off of the back row of the grid in the 56th entry. Remember, for him as well, he was actually only a couple points off of that battle for second place, what was effectively a battle for second place in the points coming into the final round. And it was a 66-point lead, 23-point lead coming into the final race. It has been overhauled. It's a 1-point championship battle, which is the big thing here for these guys as we get set for our final grid. 1 point back to second. It will be Katsiri with the championship lead over Romyanon, and then Somai, who will be 4 points back from the championship lead and 3 points back from P2. So we've got a battle on our hands here, Dan.
And noting here, Cinovic is starting in 16th place. He's going to have to work his way into this. It's not looking particularly promising for him in that respect. But cars now formed up on the grid, awaiting the green flag signal at the back of the field to get this one underway. And yeah, just 12 laps remaining to sort this one out for a championship. As you said, I think it really is going to come down now, I think, between Vongsapat and Sorowich on pace this weekend, and whether there's going to be, as it stands, if they happen to finish the way they're starting, this goes the way of Vongsapat. But there's the green flag. It's time for the 5 lights.
Yeah, from the rear end of the field, the green flag will fly. Championship Sunday, checkmate. The final race for Thailand Super Series in 2025. The Super Ecos are going to lead us off on the run out of turn number 1. Keep your eyes on the driver to the inside. He's got to do some work if he wants to win this championship. And it's going to be Sorowich who tries to get up the inside and steal the race lead from Aniki Bin Hafifi on the front row. Keep your eyes for Vongsapat Katsiri in the 33 entry as we barrel down the back straightaway for the first time. The 89 machine's way out over and in the grass. And there's the 2 guys that are battling for the championship. At the moment, Katsiri squeezed into the middle, drops back to 5th spot. He's looking to try and cut his way through. Ronnie Risman, what can he do in the 65 entry as they fan out in the entry down to turn number 3?
There you go, the 3 wide once again at this 3rd corner hairpin. We've got an onboard shot here with Sorowich Somnai in 2nd place as he makes his way out of the hairpin. So we'll hopefully see this a couple of times throughout the race, and a good run up towards turn 4 here for the 61. We'll watch out for them if they make a move, as they've got plenty of 2 wide. Well, there you go, the B-Quik Racing Honda Brios side by side as they come up over the crest there, the 26 and the 25. To the inside, another car there, 3 wide, possibly at turn 4 as we watch the leaders in the backfield come through. There you go, track limits very much optional on lap 1. 3 wide dive there in the mid-pack under brakes.
Or brakes.
We lose them off screen there, Scott, but I think we've gotten through okay so far. There we go. Turn 6 and 7, everyone's still moving as a big old pack together.
Yeah, and it's critical that you try and look for a little bit of an advantage if you can make it. It's going to be race leader Aniki bin Hafifi qualified on the front row. Everyone's looking for a slice of aggression early on. Sorowich Samai's locked himself in a P2, up to P3 for Vongsapat Katsiri. And at the moment, doing just about all he needs to lock down that title. Think about that from a perspective of the guys that are in the championship hunt at the moment as they come up and out of the crest. First lap complete in the final race of 2025 for the Super Ecos. And it's a critical one to survive first and foremost, but a critical one to make sure that you're in that lead pack. Hafifi, Samai, Mekari Kita slots through to P3 as well. Vongsapat Katsiri, Ronnie Risman to 3-year championship top 4 inside of that top 5.
Fortunately though for Purinat here in the pit lane in the number 45. Suzuki Swift looks like they have troubles and will not be out on track with the rest of their field. Ronnie Risman, 5th place on Friday, 6th place on Saturday. He's just picked up a couple of points. As to the leader in Makari Kita, once again, your Friday winner had to settle for 2nd place on Saturday, and Vongsapat to the inside will take 2nd place. Again, now thinking about this championship situations, if we get to the end of this race, Vongsapat in P2, that's it, that no one can catch. P3, it opens the door, and that's the thing we've got to think about there. If the 33 is back in 3rd place or lower, and you're then looking at someone like Sorowich, who's going to be closest on points, winning the race, that would change the situation. I have to wonder though, Scott, do these guys care about the championship, or are they here for a race result regardless of what's come before this season? As out wide for one of our Yaris's there, which actually...
Sorowich. That's Sorowich from wide that just took the really wide line down at turn 5, so... Oh, and there's a car backwards. It's the B-Quik entry, the 26 car. Tumbling through the field of Adapon, who will fall down by the wayside. Mekari Kita leads from Vongsapat Katsiri. I thought it was the 61 entry that was wide. And Ronnie Risman starts to try and close. Up to P4 for him, so he's managed to make some gains as well. And that'll be Aniki bin Hafifi. Led the first lap, but by the end of lap number 2, he's going to be 5th at this point in time. There's a few guys that have just managed to drive right on by.
No surprises here in Thailand Super Eco, Scott. Given we also only get timing updates on the tower at the end of every lap, that there's a lot of hustling, bustling, shuffling around that can happen between every update on your screens here, folks. So you've got to try and keep tabs on where everyone is at. And everyone, actually, there you go. 45 is going to rejoin the race right in front of your race leaders, though, as they come around turn 1. And track is still very much optional there from, that is the 91 of Aniki bin Hafifi.
91,
yeah, teal on the front, orange towards the rear and the sides. There you go, car around in the background momentarily. Unfortunately, cannot get a clue who it is, but Hafifi in the grass, as it's going to be the 7 of Citadel, who's gone around. Aniki bin Hafifi has to get back out into 3rd place. He can't find up the inside, but he'll force his way to the inside there, the second half of turn 3. Vongsapat Katsiri is forced out wide as well. No real respect for the track limits here in these cars. It's move or be moved. In many respects, another car in the pit lane, though. It looks like Kazu Tsukamoto, unfortunately, going to be down in the pits when you don't want to be in this race.
It looked like there was damage on the right front corner of that car as well, so a few little bits and pieces of paint being traded. On board once again with Sorowich Samai, who gets very, very wide on the run down through turn 4. So that will be track limits. That will start to be tracked by race control. They'll be keeping a close eye on that one. Tries to get to the inside of the 33 machine. It's those two drivers we have to keep an eye on. Risman's been able to make ground on this lap as well. But the problem is there's a car that's so wide. That nearly looks like some sort of failure. He's managed to arrest it at least. Bring it back underneath him. But it's going to be the 33. Vongsapat Katsiri leads the championship in this race by 1 point before you add in today's standings as well. 10 laps to go will become 9. The final 9 laps for the 2025 season and throw a blanket over them as you usually do in Thailand Super Eco. To the final corner, entry-level class for the Thailand Super Series, where everyone's sort of got to come through, pick their way through. That'll be the end of the season, unfortunately, for the 26 of Adapon as he takes the helmet off. Season over and done with only 2 laps in the finale. And the 9 of Mekari Kita is leading laps, wants to take a race win away from the final weekend, and around goes Mekari Kita, so that puts tail to that one. Mistake on the curbs. Now comes the Beniki bin Hafifi who will lead the way. Who is going to be able to make the big advantage? You know what? If Ronnie Risman wins this race and the other two get into each other, all of a sudden Risman becomes an outside shot at the championship. And just to think in the background, where's the 98 machine? How far has he managed to climb? He's 7th. Chinovich Romyanon is not out of this one yet. You can just see just a little bit too much speed into the corner. The rear end comes around for Mekari Kita.
An uncharacteristic error from Mekari Kita this weekend. Is back live. Oh, is that
Sorowich? No, he's just in the grass.
Just shredding bodywork off it as it comes to the grass.
Yeah, that'll probably be
gets away with that one as we come back live to that scene there. And as a result, lost a chunk of momentum, falls back into 5th place in behind. Baron shit. As here we go, on for the lead. Bongsapat looking inside. Oh, Aniki bin Hafifi out way wide towards the penalty loop. And so Ronnie Risman's always outside now through turn 7.
And then cuts the track.
Very liberal with track limits. I know it's the last race of the season, but this is going to get clamped down pretty hard if they're not careful by race control. You might start seeing the time penalties being dished out. As watch this here again, Scott, through turns 6 and 7. Especially here at 7. Watch how early Hafifi cuts across the inside of the corner.
A lot of track limits being used. He didn't feel like there was anywhere else that he necessarily could go. There's your championship leader in the 98. Well, sorry, my apologies. He's your championship leader at the start of the weekend. Where's he coming? Chinovich is back to 6th. Chinovich has come all the way through to 6th. And have a look at this. Oh, there's Vongsapat Katsiri. That is racing hard with... He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to be there on Haniki bin Hafifi. And I was just about to say, Hafifi is racing for a race win. Vongsapat Katsiri has a championship to consider, and he's not considered it. And now he's gone tumbling down through the order. Katsiri's back to 9th, and the championship comes back to life with 8 laps left to go. All of a sudden, who's your new championship leader? We've got to do some math. We've got to do some shuffling. It's Ronnie Risman.
I'm pretty certain it's Ronnie Risman right now. There is Sorowich Sondai in 4th place across the line. Could it possibly be him though? Oh, bloody! I actually need to record what points they're on coming in. So I actually need to have this down.
So Ronnie Risman's on 56 points. He was 10 points back from Chinovich Romyanon. He was 7 points back from Sorowich Samai. So he's got to outscore him by that. I tell you what, 1st place is 20 points. 2nd place is 15. 3rd place is 12. If Ronnie Risman wins this, you must finish 2nd place for Sorowich Samai to have a crack at this one, and he's not there at the moment. Risman could come from the clouds and steal this one at the moment with the lead and 8 laps to go, and he is starting to push clear. But have a look, all of a sudden who's arrived on the scene? It's Chinovich Romyanon.
Oh, contact in the middle of the leading pack. Who is that who's gone around in the...
It's Chinovich.
It is Chinovich in the 98, okay. That'll set him back a whole step now as well.
And Ronnie Risman's just trying to disappear down the road. He doesn't care. He's trying to do... Is this tyre issues for the 61? No, it's Chinovich who's gone around on his own in front of him.
Yeah, stuck focus there on the 61 for Sorowich, but it turns out the action was right in front of that there with the 98. Chinovich back live once again. And here now, your top 4, Ronnie Risman, Baron Shit, Sorowich and Aniki bin Hafifi as Yokbun Chu drive-through penalty for making contact back early on in the race with the 26 of Adapon.
61 black and white flag track limits. It's the track limits. He's got no more red. No, there was contact.
Bit of help, okay.
And he'll get a penalty for that. That's Aniki bin Hafifi in the 91 entry. So that I would put a line through him. But it's been so aggressive at the front, hasn't it? That's Aniki bin Hafifi who's made contact with 2 championship contenders now in this final race. Around the outside at the moment, Sorowich Samai just be a little bit careful with him at the moment. I think tempers are starting to get the best of quite a few people in this final race, because this is all for glory. This is all for glory. Car 56 as well. Is there other driver that we were looking at coming into this one? Back in 5th spot, Buntavina Jit, in terms of championship standings. So also getting the warning for track limits. So they've got to be careful. That's 2 drivers on notice already. And we're not even halfway through this race. They've got the second half of the race to do, and they have got no wiggle room with track limits. Chinovic is back in this one. But at the moment, Risman's just gone. He's clear out in front.
4 cars all at once, Scott. We usually see one car usually get the black and white flag at the same for warning trays. They're coming so thick and fast. Race control had to resort to issuing a black and white flag for 4 cars simultaneously, which, if I'm not mistaken, 65, 98, 61, 56. So Sorowich, Ronnie Risman, 2 of the drivers here in the top 4 and 2 drivers fighting for the title, they have been flagged and told they need to pack it in. So they have to watch out now for the rest of the races. Top 2 are a breakaway. Everyone behind Aniki Bin Hafifi. This is certainly where the spice is at.
The tricky thing is, Ronnie Risman does actually need, he probably won't know it, but he does need to actually fight for that race win. It is really, really important. It's a 5-point difference between first and second. And all of a sudden, Vongsapat Katsiri starts to come back through the field. He's driven his way back up to 8th spot at the start of the lap. And he's in 7th at the moment. He's made one move to get his way a little bit further ahead. If all of a sudden he comes back to the front, Risman's got to outscore him by 11 points. And that will change. I'll tell you what.
If Risman wins, Vongsapat needs to be in 3rd to hang on to the title.
No, 4th will do it. 4th will do it by a single point. Because Vongsapat Katsiri is on 67.
You're right. So yeah, 4th or better. Yes, my apologies.
Yeah. 5th versus a win will give us a dead heat on points. That is just going to be nuts. Actually, not my apologies.
It would make it 1 point in favour of Ronnie Risman. But that doesn't matter when Varenchit's going to come and take the race lead off Ronnie Risman. So I just have to wonder.
Aniki Bin Hafifi back to 3rd. Think about penalties that might be popping into the middle of this one as well. We're fairly confident that there's probably a penalty coming the way of the 91 machine. Multiple cars are currently under investigation for exceeding track limits as well, as they usually are in this series. To the inside, 98 car, Chinovic. Whatever the issues were in qualifying on Friday, they've sorted that car out as the weekend has gone on. And it's been improved upon and improved upon and improved upon. But when you start back deep in the field, you've got a lot of work to do. And Chinovic, if he can resurrect this championship with points in the last race of the season, has to outscore the 33 machine by at least a point. Has to do that. He's got 2 race wins this season. The 33 entry also has 2 race wins this season. So from there, I believe it would go back to the fact that they both have a second... sorry, my apologies. We go back to the fact that Vongsapat Katsiri has 1 second place that's come this weekend when he's absolutely needed the points. Ronnie Risman has to stay with Varenchit if he wants to win the championship. That is relevant to the title fight. As long as he sits second, it's going to go the way of any of the trio that sit 4th, 5th and 6th on the road, which, by the way, coming into the final race weekend, 67 points. Vongsapat Katsiri in the 33 entry had the lead over the 98 machine of Chinovic by 1 point.
Oh, contact!
Contact for Chinovic. He's going to go in deep. That will be the championship done for the 98. It has not been success on championship weekend for Chinovic Romyanon. And with that moment, that is probably the final nail in the coffin of his championship weekend. He's driven brilliantly to get himself back and under the abilities to potentially win this thing. On the outside down here of the 91 machine, as they tip into turn 5, he comes off the curbing, straightens it up, and the 91 just turns right, open up the corner fractionally. Chinovic is there. I just have a feeling now there's probably at least 1 penalty from the 3 sets of contact for Aniki Bin Hafifi. I just don't see that he's going to get away with all 3 of them without anything.
All right, back line. Big dive from Volkswagen Katsiri. Last corner. This here is for 4th place. Contact between two cars here. Nick Teo gets into the side of Aniki bin Habibi. These two, they're just part of the part of the race. And they're going to drop back a little bit here. So Volkswagen unleashed and released in the 3rd position. That would do it. He's just secured the championship as we run right now. If it was to end up finishing like this, no one can take it away from him there. But my word, the fireworks going off here in Thailand Super Eco. Doesn't matter if you're a championship competitor or if you're racing, but just a position here is black flag again for Yotbun Shu, or is that for someone mentioned earlier? But here's a replay of this move. The aggression from Vongspat, yet he pulls it up perfectly on the final corner here, Scott, to make that one done. And then contact there as we come towards the exit to get that little moment there between Aniki bin Hafifi and Nick Teo.
And the incident between car number 91 and car number 33 is under investigation at turn 8, which is back from the start of the race. It's the first time those two got into each other. So race control have actually had their hands very, very busy in this one. And it's just been important to just keep trucking on, picking up everything as it comes in. So they will keep working after this race is over to get penalties out, or at least investigate the incidents that they've got to do. But for 33.91, that one is under investigation for now. It's not really going to matter all that much. There's damage on the 90 car. Did you see a puff of smoke as it transitioned through turn 6 and 7? And the flip-flop. Now the 25 machine has dragged itself back into contention. Pancho White Prep is all of a sudden right on the back of these guys. Ronnie Risman's still less than half a second away from the rateless lead. So if Varanchik cooks the tyres, makes a mistake, Ronnie Risman can still potentially win this one, but it's going to take disaster for Vongsapak Katsiri at this point in time. 3rd place would be enough, a series of podiums. And the consistency in Super Eco has been something that is incredibly difficult to come by. Flash in the pan race wins have been the nature of this championship across 2025. To the outside now for the 39 of Nick Teo. He's going to go to try and squeeze some moves off in the last couple of laps. Not going to happen for him. Sorowich Samai was the car on the inside who was trying to defend. Was a very, very long way outside of the track limits. 3 more laps to go. 3 more laps to go.
Yeah, this stuff just never slows down here in the Thailand Super Eco Series. Even if the cars aren't fast, we get these massive packs of them. So look at that, 4th place. Shinoda just back in the battle again, Scott. He's found his way back to this battle back. This is 4th through 9th, all together in a frame. Count them, all 6.
Is that the number 2 car? Hasn't that car got a black flag for a drive-through penalty as well?
It does, yeah. And you get
it hasn't served it, yeah.
Yeah, so it still hasn't served that drive-through penalty for being deemed at fault for the incident with 26 of Adapon, which saw that car retire early on. So 5 cars that are actually permitted to be in this battle. As for a second there, we cut back to the leaders. As for I thought Yotbun was about to be escorted to the grass. But Ronnie Risman, half a second at the start-finish line behind Varanchik. He looks closer as we come to this at the end of second 2 here between turn 6 and 7. I mean, obviously, with these kind of cars, this small gap does equal a couple of tenths. As apparently some of our viewers who are watching along might also be wondering if that's going to be disqualification at some point. Not just yet. Next car with a black and white flag for track limits. Nick Teo in number 39.
Well, for Nick Teo, it's going to be that final warning, but also for car 56, who was in the championship hunt in Butavina Jit, now picks up 5 seconds for track limit breaches. Mekari Kita is on the absolute mission to get some spots back at the back end of this one. She was so quick early on, and unfortunately, with just overdriving turn 1, that potential of a race victory has run away from the number 9 entry, but that is a superb move at turn 5 and 6. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! We'll see it in just a few moments' time, I'm sure, but it's just popped up on the timing screen. There's an update, and it's going to affect the championship. Car number 91, Aniki bin Hafifi. That's not important. Drive-through penalty for car number 91, but it's the one that followed it that's a problem. Drive-through penalty for collision at turn 8. Car number 33, Vongsapak Katsiri. The championship is done. for the 33 entry. You cannot write this stuff. You cannot believe it. Ronnie Risman could win the championship after all this. Chinovich is still in with a shout. Risman's got to win. Risman has got a lap and a half to get to the point. And I reckon we're about to see that text pop up on screen to let Vongsapat Katsiri know it is all over.
So there's the 91 for Niki Bin Hafifi there. Collision at turn 5, which was down here. The contact with Chinovich is what I'm going to presume that was for, which... and there it is. The thing is, collision at turn 8.
He turned in from the outside and cut the space off. Is because they were 3 wide, remember?
Right,
That
early on. Which was a self slide and spin he put himself into. So it would appear the steward's taking no quarter now at this point in the race. So, as you said, indeed, Vongsapat is going to get scrapped from this because there's no way he recovers to P4 or anything that'll ensure he's in a position to get the points. So Chinovich will go to 3rd. Chinovich Robinon will go to 3rd. And with that...
After being spun twice, by the way.
Yeah, P3 for Chinovich, that would secure the title regardless of what happens to Ronnie Risman here in Thailand Super Eco. Oh, so this is talking the overall standings. You haven't even had a chance to talk about class stuff, but that's kind of irrelevant to the conversation here because it's time for the final lap in Thailand Super Eco for 2025 as Vongsapat to the pit lane there to serve that penalty now. Your top 2 come through turn 1 as the rest of the pack is only just coming through the final turn, and Varanchit has no care for track limits through turn 1 apparently.
Yeah, he's going to send it because he's going to try and win the last race of the weekend. 5-second time penalty for car number 91 as well. And Niki Bin Hafifi gets a penalty. So all of a sudden, Chinovich doesn't actually have to complete this overtake. I don't think he'll find out in enough time. Another car that gets a penalty as well is car number 14. That's a lot deeper in the field. Ridwan, that won't matter in terms of the overall standings, but this is the battle for Chinovich. This is for the championship, although he doesn't know it at this point in time. 5-second time penalty for Niki Bin Hafifi for track limits breaches. There's the 56 entry. There's contact. There's locking of brakes. Trying to swap back to the inside. This is going to go down to the wire between this pack. Chinovich has got to try and keep this car alive. He's had a rough race. He's been rotated twice. He's not scored any points this weekend. In the grass in the background for Bintaveen Najit. And the run on the way down to turn 4 for the last time for 2025 in Thailand Super Eco. This race, as has the entire title, changed corner by corner, lap by lap, penalty by penalty. You can't write this stuff. It's got to be fought for out on track. They've traded paint. They've thrown cars at each other. They've thrown track limits out the absolute window. For Chinovich Romyanon, he'll be champion-elect at this point in time if he can just bring that car home within 5 seconds of Niki Bin Hafifi. If he leads him home to the line, it'll be academic at best. Varanchit's going to take the race lead. Ronnie Risman is the only driver that is within a shout of doing anything about it, and he's not going to get there, barring disaster at the last corner. Varanchit's going to take a race win in what was an absolute dogfight. A squabble, paint traded left, right, and centre. Get the car painters on speed dial. They've got some work to do. Ronnie Risman takes a podium in the final race of 2025. Niki Bin Hafifi is hanging on for all might. He has no clue he's got a penalty and that this does not matter and it's academic at best. He's going to come home in P3, but he will get demoted because your champion for 2025 after scoring no points and losing the championship lead is Chinovich Romyanon. And the Backman car takes victory in the overall standings. What a race! What a battle in the championship. And yet again, Thailand Super Series sets it alight and the 17 car has lost a wheel on the last lap. And those are, were there any bolts on that wheel? That looks nearly like that's fallen off on its own.
Yeah, I didn't quite spot it. We're going to see here how it's happened.
It's on his own. Yeah, the bolts are just shredded off.
Failed off on his own in the middle of the last lap. Well, it was additionally academic, Scott, just to note there with Niki Bin Hafifi. He still has a drive-through penalty that he never served before the end of the race.
Yeah, true.
So that'll be something in the order of 30 seconds added to his race time on top of the 5-second penalty. More penalties coming in. Cars 7, 39, 61 have all just picked up additional post-race time. So Sorowich Somnai, who again came into this race third on points, after yesterday's race. And right here at the end of it, some elbows out from the 56 of a Buntavi Najit trying to pass Nick Teo.
He keeps him off the road too. Did you see
Pushed
that?
him all the way off the road, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't letting him back on either. Gee, what? Oh my giddy aunt, what a race. What a race.
Four drive-through penalties and then 6 cars with 5-second time penalties for track limits abuse. Just to put it all in perspective.
Confirmation of your final race results. Varan shit from Ronnie Risman from Chinovich. Risman did all he could. By the way, the margin from first to third was 18 seconds. That second pack was squabbling so much. This is confirmation of the class overall in, I believe, the all categories. Nick Teo gets promoted to third spot. C+ class now. Chinovich will take the race win from Nurin and Path and Sorowich Samai home in P3 in terms of that class. And then we get back to the ladies, I believe, as well. And C, it's going to be Siripakorn from Nataya and Adele home in that one. Mekari Kita drove back through the field to 12th spot after getting spun very early on. I think that car, that number 9 machine, deserves to be frustrated with the way that race finished because pace was certainly there in the offering. Fastest lap time was a 2:07.615 from our race winner in Varanchit. And he came from deeper in the field as well. So that one should be applauded. And now the calculators will come out in pit lane too. Because the only way that you will have any idea of who the champion is if you're tuning into any of the broadcast coverage across the weekend. It was always going to be the case for Super Eco where it came down to a couple point margin at the very back end of the race. But that one swayed, changed, corner by corner, penalty by penalty, lap by lap. And Varanchit's over the moon with the race win in the final race of Championship 2025. And someone better tell Chinovich that he's a champion.
Yeah, that would probably be good. I mean, yeah, like that's just the overall standings. We haven't even had a chance to think about the class-specific divisions. But being your overall champion is going to also mean that Chinovich comes away class champion, I believe, today. Although I may need to do some back calculations on that one there because of the fact that when the category does class calculations, we will have. It takes, obviously, you score points as in your class position, not your overall position for those ones there. Oh, there you go. I would have thought that would be pleasant rather than running away from all the water, but apparently I'm wrong.
How's that for a celebration as well? I believe that's Chimovich who's jumped across to say thank you to everyone and phenomenal battling. How good was the chat between Varanchit and Ronnie Risman as well? And Varanchit was, mate, look, I think I cut you off. I think I did you a little bit dirty at one point in time. And Ronnie's like, mate, that was racing. That was brilliant. So, at the end of the day, sportsmanship, car racing, and the fans at home are the big winners, as they always are when Super Eco goes racing. For me, it's hard to go past this sort of stuff because even though it's the lowest powered category of the weekend, it makes for the best racing. I've got to be honest.
Yeah. Oh. It's either these cars. I mean, Super Eco, Super Touring, and Super Pickup. The national Thai categories we have just consistently put on, some fantastic racing. I mean, certainly...
he wants to take that one home.
Yeah, he probably deserves to take that one home, Scott. As looks like we might be getting interviews certainly, or interviews soon, as there was something there happening in the background, but not sure what that was. But
at the end of the day,
trying to get my words together on this, like, I've just remembered what I was going on about. Yeah, Super Eco Touring Pickup, our 3 Thai national categories that fall under the B-Quik Thailand Super Series specific branding. Big fields, big action, and all kinds of madness, which we love to see. I mean, not to take away from the Supercar GT categories, but their small field sizes do mean that it takes a bit of extra magic for that to really spike up. But how about here, Scott? We'll just perhaps maybe let Goody and our podium drivers here maybe sort of talk through things a bit. Obviously, we can't really sort of tell you what they're talking about here, but if you understand the Thai, then perhaps it's best we let them do the talking for us.
ตอนแรกเข้ามาที่6ที่7ใช่ไหมฮะ
ไม่แน่ใจเหมือนกันพี่
แล้วก็กลับไป10กว่าเหมือนเดิม
ใช่
แล้วก็ดันขึ้นมาใหม่แล้วจังหวะของน้องเรียวก็มีเข้ามาทำไดทูด้วยมีนีเน่รถหมุนด้วยนะฮะมันก็เลยอันดับก็เลยขยับมาเรื่อยๆจนมาอยู่อันดับที่3
ครับ
คุณรู้ตัวไหมว่าตอนนี้คุณกำลังมีโอกาสเป็นว่าที่แชมเปี้ยนชิพของประเทศไทยนะ
ไม่รู้จริงไหมเนี่ยเอาจริงๆ
อันนี้ไม่แน่ใจเดี๋ยวรอสรุปผลคะแนนอย่างเป็นทางการดูอีกทีหนึ่งนะครับว่าถ้าคะแนนคุณนำเป็นอันดับ1หมายความว่าคุณก็เป็นแชมป์ประเทศไทยนะครับเพราะฉะนั้น
ก็หวังว่าเป็นอย่างนั้น
ฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับชินครับ
ยังไงฝากเชียร์ซีเครตเกาะกูดไปลงโป๊ะด้วยนะครับPT Magneton BR Device ครับ
แสดงวันนี้ครับขอบคุณครับโอ้ชินวิทย์โรมยานนท์นะครับไปดูอันดับ2กันก่อนนะครับสำหรับสรวิทย์สมหมายแสดงวันนี้ครับเป็นยังไงบ้างครับรู้สึกยังไงบ้าง
เห็นอังกฤษ sorry
โอเค
Oh, I think you forgot me.
No. Oh, call back. How do you feel?
Okay, I feel already happy. This is one of the best drive and race during of the year.
Wow.
The car come back one piece without any accidents.
I know so many accidents in this place.
Yeah.
Right. So, talk about the result all the year.
Okay. Throughout the year, we have hiccup, ups and downs. It's normal on the race.
Rush.
Bangsen is not our luck, which is I start from behind and
yes.
a big crash. And this round, I have like motivation to go up until P1. However, that's the best I can do, which is P2. Anything, our pace is improving a lot.
Okay, Ronnie, you know, so your revelation for in this season and open that to the next season, you have increasing and remain stable, you know, all the way.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you do competition in the series?
Okay, definitely I need to take care of my mentors and also work out with my team. So that's the key of my consistency and also the achievement we get today.
All right. So, all right, last question for comment to Thai fan who's supporting you.
Again, I'm very happy with all the support from the Thai fans and also from the team that work out everything to support me. And even the organizer, TSS, did really well to ensure all the drivers in a good mood.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Congratulations again, Ronnie Risman. Thank you. Congratulations again. Okay, and แชมป์ในสนามนี้นะครับกับโมนายครับยินดีด้วยครับเป็นยังไงบ้างครับสนามนี้
รู้สึก
น้ำโด่งตลอดเลยนะครับ
ก็รู้สึกสนุกมากครับก็ดีใจมากที่ได้โพล2 วันเลยก็จริงๆสนามนี้ผมมาเพื่อเก็บ Data Toyota
ครับ
ต่อเพราะว่าผมเริ่มตั้งแต่มี Toyota คันเดียวนะครับ
ใช่
ก็เลยแบบมาเพื่อเก็บ Data
ซึ่งพี่ก็จะฟังนะครับตลอดเวลาที่โมนายเนี่ยได้เล่าให้ฟังว่าในทุกๆครั้งที่มีการแข่งขันโมนายก็จะบอกว่าเนี่ยเป็น Toyota คันเดียวที่อยู่ในสนามสำหรับรุ่นนี้แล้วก็เราก็ได้เห็นพัฒนาการนะครับจากที่เราปรับจูนเทคโนโลยีต่างๆขึ้นมาวันนี้รถมีความรู้สึกว่าพัฒนาว่าแรงขึ้นนะครับสเตเบิลมากขึ้นถูกไหมฮะเพราะฉะนั้นวันนี้เป็นยังไงบ้างครับกับผลงาน
ก็รู้สึกว่ารถผมพัฒนาขึ้นไปเยอะมากครับแล้วก็หวังว่าในปีหน้าจะมี Toyota Yaris เพิ่มมากไปกว่านี้ครับแล้วก็อยากจะขอบคุณทีมช่างนะครับทีมแมคานิกทุกๆคนครับที่ทำรถให้ผมเป็นอย่างดีแล้วก็ขอบคุณคนที่เชียร์ทางบ้านทุกๆคนครับขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับแสดงความยินดีอีกครั้งครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
แน่นอนครับท่านผู้ชมครับสำหรับรุ่นนี้แชมป์ในสนามนี้นะครับเป็นของน้องโมนายนะครับแล้วก็เดี๋ยวไปติดตามกันต่อนะครับกับรุ่นต่อไปช่วงนี้ไปพบกับไฮไลท์กันครับ
And while Scott Rankin is doing some final number crunching for the next race coming up, folks, obviously hear your highlights from this Thailand Super Eco race. And my word, just the amount of contact we've already seen here. You can obviously tell if you somehow missed the action whilst we were calling it. This has been a brutal race, to put it mildly. At the end of the day, had some couple of big moves and clean moves, such as that one there from Vongspak at Siri on Aniki bin Hafifi. But here, it was just, bedlam. All up and down the field. Another example of a clean pass there from Meka Rikita trying to recover after a self-spin at turn 1, which is a real shame because Meka Rikita winning Friday's race, second place yesterday after being pipped by fellow Yaris car, which was, pardon me, the 98, I think. But nevertheless, championship implications that we were trying to dissect there on the fly, coming down to penalties and final laps, and the penalties flying left, right and centre as we had issues here with drivers driving beyond the track limits, given that there's plenty of runoff here at the Chang International Circuit. A reminder that 4 cars picking up black flags across the course of this race, and 6 drivers with time penalties for exceeding track limits. But that is going to be the end of Thailand Super Eco for 2025. We'll take another short break here just to allow the intro to roll for Thailand Super Pickup Division 2, and then we'll come back once Goody is back down on the grid. So there's plenty of racing here to talk about. Championship situation looks like it's a little more wrapped up, but we'll talk more about that in a couple of minutes.
เทส1 2 3 4เทส1 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 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0
เอาละครับท่านผู้ชมครับยังอยู่กับบรรยากาศสดๆนะครับสำหรับรายการ B-Quik Thailand Super Series 2025 นะครับซึ่งแน่นอนเราอยู่ที่สนามช้างอินเตอร์เนชั่นแนลเซอร์กิตจังหวัดบุรีรัมย์แห่งนี้นะครับรุ่นที่อยู่ข้างหลังตรงนี้ครับคือรุ่น Thailand Super Pickup Division 2 Class 4นะครับเมื่อวานบางอันแสงชัยวรรณทินเข้ามาเป็นที่1ทำให้วันนี้เขาไปอยู่การออกตัวในกลุ่มสตาร์ทที่5นะครับแต่กลุ่มสตาร์ทที่1ในวันนี้นะครับเป็นของฟิล์มเดี๋ยวไปคุยกันนะครับว่าเขาเตรียมความพร้อมอย่างไรนะครับตามมาเลยฮะทุกท่านครับ หมายเลข86นะฮะในกริดที่2นะครับธนดลสุขเจริญธนภาคสุขเจริญนะฮะขออภัยฟิล์มเป็นหมายเลขที่86ซึ่งเมื่อวานเนี่ยเข้ามาเป็นอันดับ4เนาะวันนี้เนี่ยเลยเข้ามาอยู่ในกริดสตาร์ที่2ในวันนี้ครับสวัสดีครับธนภาคสุขเจริญนะครับเป็นยังไงบ้างครับสำหรับการเข้ามาอยู่ในกริดสตาร์ที่2รู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับ
ตื่นเต้นครับ
เดี๋ยวตรงนี้นะตื่นเต้นใช่ไหมฮะ
ครับผม
ปกติเป็นยังไงบ้างผลงานที่ผ่านมา
ยังไม่เคยมีโพเดียมเลยครับ
ยังไม่ควรมีโพเดียมเลยแต่วันนี้เราได้ออกกริดสตาร์ทมีในกริดที่2มีโอกาสนะถ้าเราคุมดีๆถูกไหมฮะครับรู้สึกว่าเตรียมความพร้อมอย่างไรบ้างครับในสนามนี้
ก็พร้อมกับทุกสนาม
พร้อมกับทุกสนามที่ทำให้ดีที่สุดเลยนะครับฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับ
การต้อนรับวิ่งเบอร์1
นะครับครับขอบพระคุณครับธนภาคสุขเจริญนะครับฟิล์มนั่นเองนะฮะไปดูในกริดที่3นะครับเข้ามาเป็นที่3ของเมื่อวานนี้นะฮะหนุ่มหน้ามนคนชลบุรีนะฮะพี่โก้นะครับเกียรติศักดิ์ชูจรนะครับมาแล้วฮะสวัสดีครับพี่โก้ครับสวัสดีครับโอเคมาแล้วนะฮะสำหรับตรงนี้เป็นยังไงบ้างครับเมื่อวานเข้ามาเป็นที่3วันนี้เราก็ออกตัวที่3ด้วยเช่นกันและสนามสุดท้ายแล้วด้วยทำวันนี้เราวางแผนอะไรไว้บ้างไหมฮะ
ก็วางแผนก็อยากได้ที่1ครับ
อยากได้ที่1โอ้ยแน่นอนเราติดคันหน้าแค่คันเดียวเองเนาะ
ครับผม
ไม่เป็นไรเลยเพราะฉะนั้นเหลือแค่วันนี้เราก็พุชอัพอย่างเดียวเลยแต่ก็ต้องระวังเรื่องของการแข่งขันด้วยนะฮะกฎกติกาโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่ง track limit อันนี้สำคัญเพราะมีแทบทุกรุ่นเลยนะครับอันนี้ฝากถึงพี่โก้ให้ฝากถึงแฟนๆครับ
ขอขอบคุณสปอนเซอร์นะครับขอบคุณแล้วก็ทางการก็ขอบคุณทางได้
ครับ
ก็อยากให้มาได้มาพวกพี่ๆน้องๆที่อยากจะเห็นว่าตัวมันเป็นอะไรบ้างแล้วเรื่องที่ได้
ครับครับขอบคุณมากครับพี่โก้นะครับเกียรติศักดิ์ชูจรนะฮะเดี๋ยวเราไปดูคันแรกกันหน่อยโอเคถามกันมานะฮะโอเคคันแรกนี้นะครับเป็นอาร์ตจักรพันธ์วรรณรัตน์นะครับหมายเลข17ได้ที่5ของเมื่อวานวันนี้เลยมาอยู่ในกริดสตาร์ทแรกเลยสวัสดีครับอาร์ตเป็นไงบ้างครับพี่ยังตื่นเต้นอีกเหรอจนสนามสุดท้ายแล้วนะนี่จะตื่นเต้นล่วงหน้าไปถึงปีหน้าด้วยไหมแต่ทุกครั้งว่าตื่นเต้นทีไรมีโพทุกทีเลยทำไมฮะจริงเพราะฉะนั้นวันนี้สนามสุดท้ายแล้วเนาะก็ทำให้เต็มที่นะครับแล้วโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งคะแนนสะสมของเราก็มีผลต่ออันดับด้วยเหมือนกันนะฮะวันนี้เราก็คาดหวังอะไรค่อนข้างเยอะนะฮะเพราะฉะนั้นอย่าเกรงนะพี่นะผมอยากให้พี่ขับแบบสบายญาติฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับครับ
ฝากพวกเราด้วยครับเดี๋ยวปีหน้าเราก็จะมากัน
ครับมาอีกทุกปีก็อีกประมาณ20ปีนะฮะเดี๋ยวจองสมัครล่วงหน้า20ปีเลยแล้วกัน
ลด50%หรือเปล่าโอเคพี่ครับผม
ครับขอบพระคุณครับพี่อาร์ครับครับสวัสดีครับจักรพันธ์วรรณรัตน์นะครับแน่นอนนะฮะสำหรับการแข่งขันในรุ่น Thailand Super Pickup Division 2 Class C ใครจะเป็นแชมป์ประเทศไทยประจำปีนี้ติดตามกันให้ดีกับ B-Quik Thailand Super Series 2025 ครับ
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final race for Super Pickup C-Class drivers for the weekend and 2025. Checkmate, the final race. This is what we've got in front of us from the Chang International Circuit in Buriram, Thailand. And after the race 1 of Championship Sunday, effectively grand final day for the Thailand Super Series, we are off into one of the other most exciting categories of the weekend as well. Super Pickup, the C-Class drivers, and from race 1 of the weekend, race 2 of the weekend yesterday, there was a horrible load of issues with cars not making it to the finish, Dan.
No, unfortunately, if there's one thing that this category is well known for, other than the fact that it's probably the most unclean of the categories by emission standards and output, is that these cars are notoriously unreliable and can give up in various ways, spectacular or otherwise. So, yeah, unfortunately, when reading the race result sheet off from yesterday, as you said, we had ourselves, for Class C, not too bad. Only, well, I say only, but 4 retirements, all from mechanical failures, which weren't triggered, to our knowledge, from crashes or contact, just purely issues coming from the trucks. Okay, there you go. One of our drivers looking to push. I just missed who that might have been there, unfortunately. Might have a clue as to when the next driver is picked up. So 77 here on screen, which means I think we're just looking at Vitaya Rayai in the 42, because they do like to go back one by one. So, for those who haven't seen these races, another 12-lap sprint coming up here. They're going to have a rolling start here in the trucks. And also a question there about, so what trucks do we actually have when it comes to racing in this series, Scott? When in Class C, in Division 2 here, it's almost exclusively Isuzu D-Max. We have 13 D-Maxes and 1 Chevrolet Colorado. That is the field here in Division 2. We've got some more variety in Division 1, but we won't see them until the end of today's show. They're our final race of the weekend.
Yeah, that they are. Righto, they're still doing some work to try and get this truck rolling halfway down the field as well. Car number 17, as it currently stands. So we will watch and wait for them to get this car rolling. Sorry, my apologies. That was actually off pole position. That's Jacopan Wanarat right up at the front end. And this is the 86 car that's due to line up and roll away off of second spot as well. 14 cars that make the field for the C-Class category for Thailand Super Pickup. And if you want to get yourself a truck and get it rolling, get out there. This is probably one of the better ways to do it. I was actually chatting to a few drivers as a part of the Australian Super Utes category I ended up at Bathurst 1000 weekend. Speaking to a few guys up and down the field, and they talk about how much they watch this category for a lot of fun. And indeed, I believe it's actually influenced design ideas about trucks in different regions around the world and truck racing in general. So that was a really, really interesting conversation. But in Australia, these things are considered one of the better entry-level categories to go racing in for price point to get racing in effectively what is close to touring cars. Effectively, touring trucks is probably the closest to talk about. But a few of the guys also said the tyres in that category, and they're not too different from what we see from over here. They have 1 lap in them in qualifying trim. And you will see that as these cars move around on the tyre. 90 and 12 cars on row number 3. And Super Moncol as well to come from the rear of the field in this one.
Yeah, that 58 truck started out the weekend great, comfortably won the Friday race, a margin of 16 seconds, if you can sort of believe it, but then retired after just 3 laps from race number 2 yesterday afternoon. So some reliability gremlins there for that number 58 car, which they'll be hoping I don't see today, but as you said, gonna have to work your way from the back to be able to do it. Looks like we've got a couple of onboard cameras for this race as well. Hopefully we'll see that shot there from Jacopan Wanarat's truck a few times during the race. But formation lap time for the field here in Thailand's Super Pickup Division 2. Unfortunately, unlike with the Super Eco category we just saw, Scott, the championship here is already decided. But there are other championship situations to get your head around. But of course, first up, before we talk about that, we get to talk about the circuit here, the Chang International Circuit.
It is Sector 1, fast and flowing, all about straight line speed and keeping momentum up. Sector 3, about making sure that the brakes work at turn 3, and the bravery is right there for 4, 5, and 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is about flow here, and then one of the slowest corners on the track in that final corner before you build that run all the way back up. 4.5 kilometers, 12 turns, 5 to the left, 7 to the right in a clockwise direction from the Thai home of MotoGP as well. Here we go for a rolling start in the Ventus RS4. Coming our way courtesy the official tyre partner for the Thailand Super Series in Hankook. And they are a semi-slick, a tyre that gives us performance in all-round conditions, but also has a fair bit of fall off in it, which makes the racing phenomenal. Chakapan has taken pole position on board the 17 truck from Tanafak off of P2. Kitasak in P3, and Tassanai has been very quick this weekend, scored a lot of points out of 4th. Sangchai from Tanawash, Kitasak from Thanawat are going to make up the front 4 rows. Outside of row number 4, we'll get back to row number 5, which is Somnuk from Krid Prize Sub, Utaya and Arnafap. You're going to bring us home out of 12th spot. And then, some of the biggest names of the series. Right from the back row, Itasak, your champion-elect, he doesn't even need to score a single point, and Super Mongkol to bring us home. 21 points, the championship margin for Itasak KOD. And maximum points on offer, 20. He will win the championship no matter what happens by a single point if Jakapan Wanarat in the 17 truck to start off a pole position takes the race win.
And so as a result, we have to start looking a little further down the order for where the action is currently at. Tied for 4th place after the results so far this weekend is Super Mongkol Detpech in the 58 truck, along with a driver who's exploded up the order in the number 26, Tassanai Jaimun. And with Tassanai starting in 4th place there in that mostly white Isuzu D-Max on the right-hand side of the screen, 2nd row, he's in a prime spot to possibly jump up into 4th place by himself. As we wait for the green lights here in Thailand to pick up D2, it's ready to get racing there. Got the hammer down. It's go time here in the trucks.
Here we go. Run into turn number 1 from Jakapan. He's going to lead us all the way down there. It's going to be the 86 of Tanafak, who is trying to go around the outside. 3 wide on the run to turn 1 means that they get quite narrow with the big utility vehicles as they make their way through. And the 56 cars dropping back quite aggressively. Kitasak, something might be wrong with the 56 cars. It just didn't seem to get the bite off of turn 1. And he is dropping all the way to the back. So we might have one of our first retirements of this category out of turn number 1. Cover to the inside from Jakapan. There's a car trying to go the long way around. Was that Tassanai in the 26? I think it might have been. So far this weekend, 27 points scored, and he came into the series and the final races of the championship with a total of 28. So he's nearly doubled his points total just this weekend in 2 races thus far. Tanawas in the 12 car is going to try and cover all the way to the inside, and here comes Tassanai. 2 podiums this weekend. He stood in 2nd and in 3rd spot. Can he take a race win in the final race of the championship?
And if he was able to do that, he'd possibly be looking at challenging Arnafap for a P3 in the title here. In fact, speaking of Arnafap, started this race in 8th place. So watch out for that 77 truck. That's basically, we think we need to be talking about the battle for P3 in the title more than anything else. But here we go, lap 1. As with the Super Ecos, track limits here, a little optional at the start, or at least some leeway given by race control. Is up to turns 9 and 10. They will lumber around, and also with these trucks, as you see here, Scott, suspension is not exactly stiff, so the body roll here is going to be very apparent. And as we noted, of course, semi-slick tyres, they can break free under power.
They can. You'll note the smoke that comes out of these trucks as well is monitored. There is an option to get themselves a black smoke penalty. You need to still provide reasonable air quality whilst trying to generate speed and performance out of these engines. Trying to do that is not easy. Jakapan jumps out to a 1.5 second lead, but hopefully hasn't taken too much out of the tyre, and hopefully the truck will make the end of the race as well, which is worthwhile noting. Somebody missed a shift in the middle of things. Was that the 79 machine? I think it was. And in behind was Sangchai, was trying to make a move. Caught him at a rate of knots. Battle for P2. Tassanai from Tanawas, as they're going to go toe-to-toe on the run down to turn number 3. The kink in the straight, considered turn 2, and they are just about even as they enter the braking zone. And look how long the braking zone is to try and pull these cars up. That is out of turn 1, and around goes the Fat Man Performance 82.
Our lone non-Isuzu here in Division 2 at Chevy Colorado, unfortunately, has had a rough weekend in the hands of Crid Prize Soup. P10 on Saturday's race. Ended up still a lap down in the process. Here's how it's happened. So that's Kitsack in the number 52 to his hit. So bang! And I wouldn't be too surprised if that's resulted in issues. There is a second replay here. That's Super Moncol looking to go all the way around off the track through turn 3 as the 86 of Tanafak, I think that was, having a massive moment there, trying to gather his truck up on the exit of turn 3. Back with live pitches here up through turn 6 and 7. Back with your leaders here with Tassanai having one out in the battle for second for now.
Can't believe how big that hit was. The angle he came in at, Crid Prize Soup, was massive at turn 1. And Kitsack, I just don't know whether he knew he was there. Whether or not he thought it cleared him, but yeah, that one race control, I'll have a look at it. I don't know that I'll probably do too much. It's just the angle that they both came across at. In the meantime, still that lead for Jacopan up at the front.
Now. I'm actually impressed. That looks like it, for now, hasn't busted the intercooler radiator just yet. The bodywork's taken the hit.
That tyre is just about propped up on the front end of that race car. Also coming our way, Tanawas has received a 5-second time penalty for a jump start as well. So put a line through him in terms of the standings up at the point at the moment. And here comes the resurgent Tassanai, who might have just been bringing his tyres in gently. 158.219, fastest lap of the race so far for car number 90 of Sangchai, one of them. Whoa, boy. As they put the power down, the rear tyres becoming significantly less compliant the further this one goes on.
Yep, here we go. Up towards turn 4 again. A corner here in these trucks is has to be carefully managed. Thanawas will push the track a little bit. Wataya Raiai brings his truck into the pit lane unscheduled, so that appears to be some issues, unfortunately, for him. Oh, and on top of the time penalty for a jump start, our first black smoke penalty going to come through, and it will go the way of Thanawas, so we're going to have to remove that number 12 truck there, running third at the moment, from this battle pack equation, because the black smoke penalty means they'll be taking a trip down the pit lane as a drive-through to resolve that.
Tanawas, by the way, was in a 3-way stoush for 4th in the championship as well. So that will remove him from that one effectively. And there was a 3-way stoush because they were covered by 2 points. Dead heat for Tassanai in the 26 car, and Super Moncol, who had to come from the rear of the field in the 58 car. And Moncol's gotten up to P5 at the moment. So this is the front 4, and that's him, the next truck just in the background as well. So he's running reasonable lap times, and in fact, as they come through, he's actually going to go ahead and improve the fastest lap of the race down to 57.858. He is running supreme pace, but again, hopefully hasn't taken way too much out of the tyres at this point in time. Tassanai is starting to fall off the back now of Jacopan. And Tanawas still trying to get a touch closer. He looks good under brakes as the number 12 car. Gets to the inside here. Firmly up and alongside. Gee, it's difficult to pick where those cars are when they're so far to the inside there, Dan. With just the mirrors you've got available to you, and the number 90 of Sangchai lights up the rear. Super Moncol will look at that and say, thank you kindly. That's another spot picked up for me. Was that an issue for Tassanai? Looked like he might have just not had the ability to get through the gears the way that he wants. And down the inside goes Super Moncol through turn 4. Yep, just 2 trucks running through the fastest corner on the racetrack side by side. Now a pinch brake for the number 12 as well, as he runs very, very deep down into turn 5.
And so Tassanai needs no further invitation to take back that second place. Now, Super Moncol's truck is back in full working order. This is not too shocking to see from him, this pace. He was head and shoulders above the field the entire race. Could not be matched for lap pace. So if it's back again like as you're seeing right now, and it still continues on, then that's indicative of where he's probably likely on track to go. as first track limits warnings have come through from Race Control with the black and white flag. For the 79 truck of Songnuk Piantam, which was 8th place when they started this lap, as well as the 86 truck, which, pardon me, is Tanafak Sukrajong, has escorted past the track limits at the final turn. There is Itasak. And look at that, there goes Monko up the inside of turn 1. We'll take that away from Tassanai, and now look to go chase after your race leader in Jakapan Monarat. Make it at least 2 race wins from the weekend. And therefore also shore up his position in the championship to become the 4th place driver on his own merits, although with... There's Arnafat. Yeah, 77 is in P7. Might have to start doing some number crunching on that P3 podium spot for the championship spot, because I think that's now very much up in the air.
It would require very strong results from both Supermon Colt and Tassanite. And we've only hit 1/3 race distance at this point in time. Talk about race results for Supermon Colt Det Patch to the point this season. First round of the season, DNF, no points scored. And then on to Bang Seng Grand Prix weekend, race win in race 1, P2 in race 2, 0 points in race 3, which will also could probably be attributed to an ailing car at the back end. That is a car that is very, very awkwardly placed and limping. Are they going to be able to get it off the track? Yes, they are. So we will have an opportunity to stay green.
Eyes back up to the battles here in around, well, this is for 4th place. Itasak all over the back of Tanawas, who again, remember, has that black flag for smoke, as well as his time penalty he'll have to serve at the end of the race. So I haven't seen this truck come to the lane yet to observe that flag, and maybe now's the time as he comes a little slower towards final turn. Oh, spin for the leader!
Oh.
Jakapan Monarat goes around. Did Supermon Colt get him? I don't know. Well,
the only way we'll know is if Race Control have a look. We'll probably have to find a replay. And there was 2 cars that shot to pit lane in the back end, which is a 12 and a 77. So they've both come in on his own.
Looks like, yeah, just trying to drive it too fast to keep Supermon Colt behind. You have yourself a new race leader at the start of lap number 6, here, folks. And on for 2nd place, Itasak. He's your champion-elect. Can't be beaten on points today, regardless of what happens, but he's still making his way up the field to get to 2nd place here by turn 3.
Yeah, but in the process, he's going to pick himself up a black and white flag for exceeding track limits. You can just see how much counter steering they had to do as they come down through turn 3. Tassanai, can he get through the gears in these trucks as best as possible? But primary place, preferred line into turn number 4 is going to be that of Itasak in the 30. You can just hear tyres squealing, complaining. And both of them take to the runoff area on the run down to turn number 5 as well. The outside of turn 4. They are punishing the tyre as they always do in the Super Series. I tell you what, it's a good thing you've got an official tyre supplier on board, because those are some hand cooks that are feeling very hand cooked.
Yeah, it's not quite hand cooked, but yeah, I'll give you that one there, Scott. You're taking lessons from the David Haynes School of motorsport puns. Actually, then again, with David, it's not necessarily motorsport puns. It's just
puns in general.
Puns that fit the vibe. We just happen to have a common interest and conversational ground.
I'll double down, Dan. It's a hard time being a racing tyre because you're always under pressure.
Yeah, okay. That one fits the bill. I mean, they scream in agony plenty as oi! Tassanai nearly loses it after watching Jakapan run to nearly the wall, separating the racetrack from the pit lane. We've reached the halfway mark, ladies and gentlemen, and apparently it's not just the gloves that have come off. Tyres are begging for mercy as well in the process.
As is Dan Yeaman in his ears from the puns he's going to hear for the rest of his Sunday.
I've got to dish out what I can whilst I can.
That's it. Whilst we're waiting for a little bit of mercy and relief for the tyres on board with Jakapan, who started from pole position And the championship leader just in front of him. Narrow on the entry to turn number 3. Nice sweeping arc. And again, you can just see the wandering. That's a great shot and a great read of how difficult it is to apply the power. And that means that Jacopan's going to get a better run as they head down to turn number 3. What about his championship for 2025? He sits second in the championship. And this will probably be enough to lock him into that one. There is somewhat of a battle for P2, P3 in the championship, but it was the 77 machine of Arnafap who's gone for a tour through the pit lane. Again, changing lines, looking to try and assault 30 of Itasak. He's just not able to carry speed. Now he's put a pinch on some tyre smoke on those front hand cooks. And there you go, the over and under. That was beautifully set up, and what a time to go for a ride and onboard shot as well.
The other thing I think hopefully you guys can appreciate from the onboard shot there from Jacopan's truck, you appreciate the fact that they're still using what looks like a stock steering rack with all that rotation required to turn these things. It's yeah, they're certainly not shy on the amount of steering lock that goes into these things in the slower speed corners. Yeah, I'm actually trying to get my head around the championship situation now. With Itasak doesn't want to give up second place. Okay, easy there, fella. Hey, and then just mashes the throttle pedal on quarter exit. Never mind what that does to the tires. It's just go for it, lad. Apparently. Okay, we've got ourselves some updates from race control. In addition, it's now not just track limits. It's now a 10-second time penalty to the 82 truck. Is there an 82 truck in this field? Yeah, it is Crib Prize Soup. So the incident with 52, although then there's a follow-up message saying a drive-through penalty for the 52 truck.
So
is it simply a case of, was this at main straight? Was there something before the replay, I wonder, that we missed? Or is it a case of joint responsibility? I don't know, Scott. What do you think?
No. I'm going to say that, well, at turn 1, if it was at turn 1, you'd see the same message for at turn 1. For both drivers, if it was a joint responsibility, it certainly wouldn't be a drive-through penalty. So car 52's copped the drive-through penalty for what we did see, and there's something further that happened just before that we didn't see. So is my reading on that one. In the meantime, this is the 12 and the 77 trying to come back through the field as well. At this point in time, Arnafap's trying to carry some speed. Now remember, Tenor West was quick very early on, but it looks like those tyres might be starting to go off.
By now, as you said, from what your information you've got, yeah, these tyres will definitely be in struggle street. Like, for reference, Super Moncol's out leading the field by 6 seconds. His best lap, as you said, that 1:57.8 on the timing tower. His last lap time was a 2:01.4. So yeah, the tyres are gone. We are now in the phase of the race where you just drive the thing as best you can and manage these trucks to the finish. Everyone is currently about 2 to 3 seconds off of their personal best in this race. As another lap complete, 4 laps to go for your leaders. And as the timing towers update, Super Moncol a little slow on that last lap at 2:02.3. Lost nearly a whole second to Jacopan in second place, and Itasak almost going with Jacopan there as well. So watch out for that, as there's your leader passing by the lapped truck, which I think is Kitasak, and unfortunately that's not nice for Tanawa. The 69 truck is going to pull off to the side of the road, and someone's having a good old time. Maybe they're at the last turn?
Sounded like it might have been the number 12 of Tenor.
Oh, look at the right front corner.
West. Yeah, there's damage definitely on that truck. And they're going to try and get him out of the way. But the problem is, where is that one parked up? Oh, it's flat.
Outside of turn 4, just before turn 5. He is going to get the runoff road. But he's not.
Why did he not drive that further off the track?
And the sound we heard in the background of the shot, oh, Arnafap. Oh, locks up the left front and then nearly loses the rear for his own troubles. Okay.
That's a break. That smoke wasn't coming from the tyre surface itself. That was coming from inside the tyre. Something failed there.
Okay, we'll have to watch out to see if the 77 is still circulating at normal speeds, but you'd think not. in that case. We're back live now with what is the battle for third on track. Itasak versus Sang Chai.
I can tell you Arnafat was 4 seconds slower in the first sector, so I think he is slowing.
If he hasn't had a brake failure like you suspect, he would have to be managing that quite a bit. So, just watching around the circuit, also trying to get my head on, the minor placings battles. So, Jacopan Monarat, he'll hang on to second place in the tile because he's sitting there with 15 points provisionally if he finishes second. And hello, we've got something down on the circuit then.
Yeah.
One of our
100% for sure.
Maybe Arnafat spilled. Of course, you did. Was it Arnafat who spilled it?
That smoke would make a lot more sense if that was the case. We haven't had Arnafat actually come through to another sector time, so I think that truck has indeed expired somewhere between the end of sector 1.
He's just crossed. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry, no. I'm still waiting to see him update. Indeed, still nothing.
So he never crossed sector line 2, which means I reckon he's gone off down at sector 3 and just kept going. But it's on that outside, which is where
he was. For a third truck nearly. So that's Jacopan in the 17, Tanawat in the 69, and I think that was Tassanai almost going into him. All at the final turn. And now, as we come back live, the number 12 truck of Tanawas has gone around at turn 1.
Well, it was only in that front left corner. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hazard a guess at this one. I reckon a brake line's
slippery surface flag there out at turn 1 just to be hit to this replay of the 12 of Tanawas. So we certainly have oil or some kind of fluid down on the circuit here, folks. And it is making things just a little bit dicey for our drivers to have to negotiate. We are still green flag conditions where it is safe to do so. But look how slow Superman Cole's going now, it looks like. It's just a full-on sort of like cruise at this point for your race leader. He now has an 8-second gap. He's the fastest driver still on circuit.
Superman, how's this for a difference? Best VMAX, 219.5. Last time through the speed trap in that first sector, 169.8. So he has slowed significantly compared to his early running. And the other thing was, on lap 1, he was a good 7-8 kilometers an hour faster than anyone else. So whatever they're doing with that truck that is taking it to the limits of its reliability has also started to fall off massively. But is that because of something down on turn 1? There's more trucks having issues at the final corner.
Look at it here on this time by through the speed trap. It should update back up to 189 kilometers an hour. So he's still 30 kilometers an hour down on his top speed in this race, which is also the top speed of any truck through the speed trap prior to turn 3 by a long margin. My only concern, that's coming out the exhaust. We usually see black smoke out of these things. That's a lot of white-ish smoke coming out the exhaust pipe when he initially gets on power. But it wouldn't surprise. Slippery surface flag there again, was that? Off to the side of shot, entering turn 5 here, Scott. I mean, it all points to a combination of reliability in managing the truck, tyres fading, and I'm pretty certain stuff down on the circuit. Because we're now lapping in the 204s for your front runners. We're now nearly 7 seconds a lap slower than what they can do. Just to get around here at the end, it seems. So just over 5 kilometers or so now, I'd say, for Superman called Detpech to get to the end of this race. You'll see the last lap board this time round the final turn and moves all the way over to the middle of the road here before coming into the braking zone at turn 12. And confirmation there, slippery surface flag out at turn 1 still. And he begins the final lap of the race here in Thailand Super Pickup Division 2 as to the pit lane. Is that Jacopan? I think that's Jacopan who's headed to the pit lane in the number 17 truck. Right Yeah, right
Yes,
at
it
the end.
is.
Black smoke penalties come through in the meantime from race control, about literally within the last minute. So right in the closing stage of the race, he has to come down the pits for having emitted too much smoke.
Yeah, so at this point in time, he's going to fall down through the order. Where's he going to pop back out? It's going to be the 26 machine of Tathanai, I think, has made his way through into P3. So back on the podium. So it'll be 3 podiums from 3 races for the weekend for car number 26 of Tathanai. The 58 of Super Moncol will slide to 3rd in the championship if he can just finish this race. And there's the battle between Sangchai and Jakapan.
Yeah, we'll try and crunch the numbers after this one then to get you the try and sort of spell out where everyone else is finishing this championship. Yeah, Itasak Kaidui, whatever happens, even though he's down, he's in 2nd place, he's going to pick up another 15 points. He'll go to a 100-point season for the number 30 truck. Has a good run up the inside from the number 90 of Sangchai, and Jakapan does not fight it on entry. He'll look for the over-under into turn 5 instead. Cover it off, and the movement to try and get a better entry and get a better exit. Oh, it's perfect. It worked perfect. The crisscross, and then he escorts it towards the exit of the circuit on corner entry.
Body roll in the super pickups. Towards the back end of this one, I can tell you, on the run to the final corner is Super Moncol, who will pick up a race win to cap off a championship where he will finish in 3rd spot. In the 4 races that he has finished, there have been podiums from everyone. His worst points finish is 2nd place. And he will line it up out of the final corner and take a race win in the final race of the championship. But your champion for 2025, car number 30, Itasak QD, gets it done. And you can hear the celebrations as he waves out the window to everyone down the start-finish straight. Gets it done down there. Yeah, happy as anything for Itasak. Issues, I think, for the 26 machine of Tassanai out of the last corner.
Gets beat to the line by both Jakapan and Sangchai.
He has no drive there at all. And he was that far away from being the only car to finish on the podium in all 3 races of the weekend. Not to be.
So close, but so far. Oh.
Car 58, Super Moncol gets it done in Super Pickups Class C. On the Division 2 drivers, remember A and B class will be out on track later on tonight. I believe that will be our final race of the day as well. And I'm just keeping half an eye on point standings in this one as well, because I'm just looking for... Jakapan comes home in P3, so he will lock up P2 in terms of the championship. The 77 car, Arnafap, is going to get bumped from 3rd in the championship. So for that race win from Super Moncol is enough to bring him to 3rd overall.
Well, if the championship is something he cares about, then hopefully that's sort of a satisfying bonus for him there, because, as you said, it's been a season of either super highs or crushing lows due to retirements. And you said there's only 1 race where he's had a finished but not, or classified and scored no points, whereas otherwise he's had DNFs or podiums. So it's very much been a season of 2 halves there for the 58 truck. And fastest lap today by far, 157.8. Absolutely smoked everyone when it came to single lap speed. Next best time was a 58.2 is only half a second off. But for Sangchai, he ends up finishing some 21 seconds back in 4th place, to put it in perspective.
So run back in a pit lane. Confirmation, your podiums. Super Moncol from Itasak, from Jakapan, home inside of your top 3. Sangchai, one of them, home in 4th. And Tassanai, home in 5th. But car 17, 5-second time penalty for continued abuse of track limits. So it's actually going to be a replacement. It's actually going to be the 90 car of Sengchai who'll get home on the podium, and 17 under investigation for pit lane speed. So don't lock any of that in at this point in time. And if he has sped in the pits, Super Moncol is a chance of coming back through and potentially nicking second spot in the championship.
Okay.
เทส1 2 3 4เทส1 2 3 4
If the 17 of Jacopan gets moved one spot further back, yeah, that will be... Yeah. If Jacopan finishes 4th, which he will after a 5-second penalty, Super Moncol winning the last race actually promotes him to second in the championship. There you go.
Well, important twists and turns. And once again, unfortunately, the steward's box providing some of that one there. Let's listen in a little bit here to Goody, and maybe we will do some final points crunching / keep an eye on those messages from race control, as well as any late changes there, as we suspect. Scott, and let's hear from the drivers what they had to say about today's race.
ครับก็มันมีเหมือนคราบน้ำมันนิดนึงใช่ไหมครับแต่ก็โอเคมารับถ้วยได้1 2 3โอเคได้3โอเคแล้วพอใจไหมครับสำหรับปีนี้พอใจแล้วสุดๆเลยนะใช่สุดๆเลยครับพอใจมากเพราะว่ามาแข่งรายการปีแรกแล้วว่าประสบผลสำเร็จได้ขนาดนี้ผมว่าโอเคแล้วครับปีหน้าล่ะปีหน้าต้องได้เลยครับฝังไว้เลยปีหน้าต้องวางแผนมาให้มันต้องให้ดีกว่านี้ครอบคลุมต้องมันตั้งแต่หนาม1มาเนี่ยผมโดนปรับโทษหลายโทษครับพวงพิษมันดำเนี่ยอะไรเงี้ยครับจะเยอะหน่อยมันก็คือสิ่งที่เป็นประสบการณ์แล้วบอกให้เราได้รู้ว่าเรากลับไปคุยกับทีมงานทำยังไงแก้ไขปัญหายังไงใช่ไหมครับแต่มาถึงจุดนี้ได้ก็ถือว่าโอเคแล้วนะพี่ครับแสดงความดีอีกครั้งครับครับขอบคุณครับขอบคุณครับพี่ครับขอบคุณครับไปดูอันดับที่2กันนะครับท่านนี้ก็เข้ามาเป็นอันดับ2นะครับกับอิทธิศักดิ์แก้วดีพี่นุ๊กครับแสดงความยินดีด้วยครับโอ้โหสวัสดีครับพี่ผมเห็นแววตาพี่ตั้งแต่สนามบางแสนพี่บอกกับเราว่ามีความตั้งใจที่จะพิสูจน์ให้เห็นนะครับว่าทำได้แล้ววันนี้ก็ทำได้แล้วด้วยใช่ครับวันนี้ผมทำได้แล้วครับกับประเทศไทยคลาส 4ครับครับโอ้โหรู้สึกยังไงบ้างผมรู้สึกภูมิใจมากครับกับตัวผมเองครับทีมงานหลังบ้านผมและสปอนเซอร์ทุกๆคนที่ยังเชื่อในผมครับครับผมวันนี้ฝันที่เป็นจริงนะฮะใช่ครับวันนี้ฝันผมเป็นจริงแล้วครับครับเพราะฉะนั้นฝากถึงแฟนๆนะครับพี่ลูกครับฝากถึงแฟนๆด้วยครับรายการ Thailand Super Series นะครับไม่ว่าคุณจะอยู่ตรงไหนขอแค่ชื่นชอบในกีฬามอเตอร์สปอร์ตที่ตรงนี้คือที่จะพิสูจน์ตัวเราว่าเราทำได้ไหมจะกี่10 ปีหรือจะปีเดียวได้หรือจะ5 ปีได้หรือ10 ปีได้สุดท้ายแล้วคือคุณทำได้ผมทำได้ครับขอบคุณมากครับโอ้โหอิทธิศักดิ์แก้วดีครับขอบคุณครับแสดงความยินดีครับแม่และแชมป์ที่1ของสนามนี้นะครับกับบิ๊กสุภาพมงคลเดชเพชรแม่เป็นไงบ้างครับดีครับก็ออกจากลำดับสุดท้ายมาครับวันนี้ใช่เหนื่อยเลยแต่ก็ลอยลำนะเพราะว่านำโด่งไปแล้วใช่ครับจริงๆอ่ะถ้าเราพูดถึงย้อนกลับไปเมื่อต้นฤดูกาลเนาะถ้ารถไม่มีปัญหาถ้ารถไม่เกิดอุปสรรคมันก็มีโอกาสลุ้นแชมป์ประเทศไทยได้ก็มีครับก็มีใช่ไหมฮะเพราะฉะนั้นมันก็เป็นสิ่งที่เราจะต้องกลับไปพัฒนาแล้วก็เริ่มใหม่ในปีหน้าใช่ปีหน้าว่ากันใหม่ครับมีโอกาสแน่นอนเพราะเรารู้แล้วว่าลายของเราเป็นยังไงวิธีการเป็นยังไงที่เหลือแค่รถใช่ให้เราพร้อมเดียวคนขับเกิน100แล้วตอนนี้บิ๊กครับฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับก็ฝากรายการTSS ไปเลยครับ Thailand Super Series Thailand แล้วก็ฝากเชียร์ทีมชาบูทักแก่บิ๊กครับตั้มคัทอากานะ MK Sport บายอุดอ่องระยองครับครับขอบคุณครับบิ๊กสุภมงคลเดชเพชรนั่นเองนะครับกับแชมป์ในสนามนี้นะครับแน่นอนนะครับคุณผู้ชมครับยังมีรายการที่น่าสนใจมากกว่านี้ครับเดี๋ยวตอนนี้ไปพบกับไฮไลท์กันก่อนครับ
Well, folks, if you thought the chaos was going to be contained to Thailand Super Eco, it certainly was not. Thailand Super Eco Division 2 delivering us a whole host of madness here from such as that incident down at turn number 1, and then all of a sudden, race leader at the time, Jacopan Morara, absolutely throwing it away at the final turn all by himself. And then, we'll see it on the replay here, but a reminder that then we had one of our other trucks in the form of, we believe, the 77 Artifact trickling, presumably some kind of brake failure, we think, down at turn 1, and then leading to all kinds of chaos as drivers had to navigate a very slippery surface. That there, though, was just drivers overdriving it at that point in the race. Because look at them here, firing into the last corner and then also trying to gather it up and smacking too much power down on the road in these kinds of trucks. You've got this fantastic onboard shot here of how you race around this circuit, showing Jacopan able to set up and overtake past another 30 there with Kitasak. One of our retirements today, unfortunately, the number 69 truck pull off. And this is the moment where, he said, massive explosion from within the wheel disc. Presumably it's going to fluid. Then suddenly Jacopan's gone around. The number 90 of Songnam's gone around. You can see there, 26. Tasnai nearly going around as well. It was crazy. Look at them, they're literally parking up at the last turn. And then even at turn 1, there must be more fluid down as well, because a pretty unexpected slip and slide there from the number 12 truck to mix things up. But for Super Mongol Detpecha to start from the rear of the field in this third and final race of the weekend for this pickup D2 field, and he walked away a comfortable win. And we're waiting, and we believe, based on the information that was provided from race control, that was enough to elevate him to the top of the second place, in the championship. Can't catch 30 Vidasak with that one there, but nevertheless, we'll jump up from equal 4th to 2nd. We'll take another quick break here, folks, on commentary. It's time for our first 60-minute race of the weekend here. It'll be Thailand Super Touring's 8th and final race of the championship, coming up next here on the Thailand Super Series and Speed Cafe channel. Stick with us here. We'll be back after about 10 or so minutes with the countdown to the next of our final races.
Nhà đây có may nè.
ครับยังแห้งแค่
โอ้ยแดดออกเลย
ก้อนนี้แหละที่ทำให้เราเล่นบอลยาวๆมาเถอะที่น้องใส่น้องอะไรวะพี่เดี๋ยวตอนเปิดอ่ะล่มผมตอนคัดเดียวเพราะว่าคุณเอ๋เขาบอกว่าให้ไปการเซ็นให้เดียวไม่เท่าไหร่เขารู้ว่าให้ตรงไหนออกมาแล้วบอกแล้วนะออกไปแล้วเมื่อกี้บอกแล้วแล้วทำไมเรื่องซุปเปอร์คาร์ผักบอกเลยอยู่กัน2 คนแล้วก็ติดกันไปติดกันมาเจ๊ยัง
บอกแล้วว่าใช้กล้องไหนบอกเขาแล้วว่าใช้กล้องไหน
เอาละครับท่านผู้ชมครับกลับเข้ามาสู่ที่สนามช้างอินเตอร์เนชั่นแนลเซอร์กิตนะครับจังหวัดบุรีรัมย์กันต่อนะครับสนามสุดท้ายแล้วนะครับสำหรับรุ่น B-Quik Thailand Super Series 2025 รุ่นที่อยู่ข้างหลังผมนี้ครับคือรุ่น Thailand Super Touring นะครับจะขับกัน 60 นาทีบวกกับอีก1รอบนะครับและที่ในกริดสตาร์ทที่ 1 กับเวลา Qualify ที่ดีนะครับเป็นของ Insane Motorsport นะครับเมื่อวานนะครับไม้แรกเป็นเน็ตชนันชิชาครับวันนี้ไม้แรกจะเป็นของวัยรุ่นบางเสาธงต้าอนันทรตั้งเนียนนาฏชัยไปคุยกับต้ากันครับเนื่องจากว่าการแข่งขันของต้ากับเน็ตเนี่ยเมื่อกี้เน็ตก็แอบบอกว่าผลงานยังไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่เนื่องจากว่าบางแสนก็ยังไม่ค่อยได้แต้มเท่าไหร่นะฮะสวัสดีครับต้าครับ
ครับ
เป็นยังไงบ้างครับต้าครับ
ก็ดีครับผม
โอเคพูดถึงการแข่งขันแน่นอนว่าในปีนี้เนี่ยเราลงมาอยู่ในรุ่นทัวริงนะครับขับกวงเน็ตอาจจะผลงานยังไม่ค่อยเป็นที่น่าพอใจเท่าไหร่ใช่ไหมครับ
ก็อย่างคุริฟายก็เป็นที่น่าพอใจครับแต่แค่ว่ามีปัญหานิดนึงเรื่องสตาร์ทเดือนที่แล้ว
ครับ
ผมแล้วก็มีปัญหาเรื่องยางแตกอีกก็ถือว่าโชคร้ายไปแล้วกัน
ไม่เป็นไรครับก็มันก็เป็นสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นได้เนาะในเหตุการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นในสนามแต่แน่นอนว่าทุกคนก็เห็นในเรื่องของการคุริฟายแล้วก็จะไปพัฒนาต่อในปีหน้าถูกไหมฮะต้าครับผมต้าครับฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับ
ก็ฝากเชียร์ผมด้วยนะครับเบอร์65ทีมไอเซมครับผมนะครับอนันทรตั้งเนียนชัยก็ติดตามนะครับ
ขอบคุณครับต้าครับอนันทรตั้งเนียนนาฏชัยนะฮะไปต่อกันที่กริดที่2นะครับขับคนเดียวไม่รู้เหนื่อยหรือเปล่าเมื่อวานก็บอกว่าเหนื่อยนิดนึงแต่วันนี้ไม่น่าจะเหนื่อยแล้วเพราะว่าเป็นสนามสุดท้ายแล้วนะครับของพี่โยนะครับภาสริศพรหมสมบัตินะครับสวัสดีครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับ
แหมสนามนี้ยังไงบ้างครับพี่อากาศน่าจะดีสบายๆนะครับ
ก็คิดว่าครับ
โอเคพี่โยขับคนเดียว
ใช่ครับ
นะครับก็ถือว่ากติกามันก็จะมี compensation time เพราะฉะนั้นเราก็จะมีในเรื่องของคะแนนที่เราจะต้องไปเสียเวลาในเรื่องของการต่อในพิทสต็อปด้วย
จอด19 วิ
ครับ19 วิถือว่านานนะในมุมของเราในการต่อคนเดียวด้วยแต่ไม่เป็นไรพี่โยครับเพราะฉะนั้น
สู้ครับ
สู้เต็มที่คะแนนมาเต็มที่อยู่แล้วพี่โยฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับ
ก็ฝากเชียร์ด้วยนะครับ YK มีทั้งหมด3คันนะครับเบอร์7 14แล้วก็22
ครับขอบพระคุณครับพี่โยครับภัสริศพรหมสมบัตินะครับกับ YK Motorsport นะครับไปต่อคือต้องบอกว่าหัวแถวเนี่ยนะฮะใน1 ถึง 4อันดับแรกเนี่ยมีนักขับที่ต้องบอกว่าผ่านการขับรถซุปเปอร์คาร์มาแล้วนะฮะและนี่ก็เป็นอีกหนึ่งในนั้นนะฮะที่อยู่ในกริดสตาร์ทที่3นะครับ RMR นะฮะร่มไม้ริมนานั่นเองนะครับสวัสดีครับอาจารย์สวัสดีครับอาจารย์
สวัสดีครับพี่
เป็นยังไงบ้างครับ
ก็จากเมื่อวานยังไม่ออกครับโอ้ไม่ได้ขับเลย
เกิดอะไรขึ้นเล่าให้คุณผู้ชมฟังหน่อย
ท้ายเซตอัพรถมันค่อนข้างแบบ aggressive ก็คือท้ายออกง่ายมากๆ
อยู่เมืองนอกมานาน aggressive แปลว่าอะไรฮะ
แปลว่าแบบว่า
มันไม่ค่อยโอเคมันแข็งไป
มันก็โอเคแต่ว่ามันขับยากครับ
ขับยากยากขึ้น
ก็คือเชฟอาจจะยังไม่ค่อยชินครับก็เกิดความผิดพลาดกันได้ครับ
ดีนะวันนี้ขับเป็นไม้แรกถ้าขับเป็นไม้2เนี่ยผมกลัวว่าเดี๋ยวอาจารย์จะแบบว่าวนเปิดประตูผิดด้านอีกข้างหนึ่ง
ไม่ใช่ครับไม้แรกอาจจะเป็นเหมือนเชฟเมื่อวานก็ได้ก็ไม่กล้ารับประกันอะไรมากเหมือนกันครับผม
ก็ต้องมาลองดูฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับพี่ใหม่ครับ
ผม
ฝากถึงแฟนๆหน่อยครับ
ขอบคุณครับฝากเชียร์ครับร่มไม้ริมนาครับเบอร์16ครับผม
ครับขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับผม
ครับพี่ใหม่นะครับอนิวัฒน์ล้อมมหาไทยนะครับขับคู่กับชายโชธนินนะฮะท่านผู้ชมฮะต้องบอกว่า1 ชั่วโมงเต็มๆกับอีก1รอบนี้นะครับสำหรับรุ่น Thailand Super Touring นะครับใครจะเป็นแชมป์ในสนามนี้ติดตามกันให้ดีนะครับกับ B-Quik Thailand Super Series 2025 ครับ
Well, folks, if you've stuck with us, thank you very much. If you're joining us just now, welcome along to approaching the halfway point of the final day of racing here from Chang International Circuit for this 5th and final event of the season. Checkmate, the final race here in both, well, be it the B-Quik Thailand Super Series or TSS, the Super Series by B-Quik, depending on which categories we're talking about here this weekend. Thank you all for joining us from wherever you are around the world, whether it's with Thailand Super Series YouTube channel or the speedcafe.com YouTube channel. Hope you've enjoyed the racing action and coverage so far. My name is Darren Yeaman, here with Scott Rankin on the microphone for this, well, today's part of the event. And coming now to the first of our 60-minute races for today's coverage. It is the final race of the season, Thailand Super Touring. They will have a rolling start as well, and then it's 60 minutes, and then once that timer reaches 0, then we start our final lap of the race. The big thing, of course, is that there is a compulsory pit stop in this one. The pit window opens at 35 minutes remaining, closes at 25 minutes remaining. However, if we get a safety car that either starts before that or comes out during that window, safety car may just be delayed a fraction. So we'll keep you advised on that if something like that happens at all. Nevertheless, that's something to keep in mind as see here our last couple of drivers and teams at the back of the field. Fingers forward, Scott Rankin. It looks like they're hoping to make some progress towards the pointy end of the situation, but they've got to overcome both starting at the back and all of the requirements regarding the compulsory pit stops to worry about as well.
Make sure that you move forward in race trim is a big one. Compulsory pit stops notwithstanding. And I'll actually go digging and pull out the compulsory pit stop information for our final race of the season. Regardless, Super Touring set for their final start, and the final start before the luncheon break on this, the 2nd of November 2025, as we get set for a race start. And our formation lap, going to be the 65 machine off of pole position. They're looking set to see if they can't cement themselves further up the field. Race winner yesterday, car number 7, Anason, doubled his points total for the season in one race with that race win. He would love to be able to back it up off of second place. Sorry, my apologies. It was Passarit Promsombat who managed the result yesterday. Here we go for formation like that.
Indeed, we are away. So, I have been able to find the couple of documents thanks to the TSS, which actually apparently got a revision at some point as part of its publication. So, minimum time in the pit lane from entry to exit this weekend in all categories that have a compulsory pit stop. Standard time is 90 seconds. We then have, in some cases, there's a couple of cars out there in Super Touring, 2 of them actually I should say, that have what's considered a Class C, all Class C pairing. So they actually get 5 seconds knocked off their time to 85 seconds, and then depending on various pairings and grades which add time, plus cars that say race winners and such, maximum time in the pit lane today is 109 seconds for yesterday's winner, a solo entry as well. Passarit from Sombat, number 7. Also, for the first time today, we see ourselves racing on an all-slick tyre. The Hankook Ventus F200 is the control tyre for Thailand Super Compact. As you can see there, 15-inch rim, 190mm in width, so it's still a reasonably really small tyre. I should say, sorry, for the Super Touring field. But let's walk through the grid here with Shannon Chicha and Passer from Sombat, your front row. Anawat and Tanner Patrick will be starting the cars off of row 2. Anathon, sorry, starting the 65 from in front of the field. Wong's in new solo in the Fire Monkey Motorsport number 36 as Natnid alongside him for the race start. John Sack, P7 with Adapong Kum Tong out of 8th place. Super Kit and Mana going to start 9 10 for this race with Triton and Tanner Korn off of row number 6. Top half of the field. Pretty nicely. Timothy Thomas and Yotsarun off of the 7th row. Nurapong and Teo the 8th row. Apifunya and Chaya out of 17th, 18th place for your 9th row. Saravut and Essen Astathorn round out the top 20 here and the 10th row, with your final row being Nardol and Prapoj. To make it 22 cars planning to start this race. Super Touring category obviously scales things up a bit from Super Eco Scott, but there's still a lot of the same stuff that we get to enjoy when it comes to racing. We do get a rolling start here too as well, so it's a bit different in that respect. But we've got a full field of cars, a whole bunch of Honda CRZs, but a couple others mixed in as well, and a variety of car configurations to boot too. So time to get our first 60-minute race underway here in just a couple of moments.
Yeah. That it is 60 minutes plus 1 lap. Pit stops in the middle. This is your Thailand Super Touring. They've challenged and punished the tyres across the weekends from Buriram earlier on. As the King watches over the entry to the final corner from the starting board on the outside. It is time for our rolling start for Super Touring on the front row. Adam Thorne is going to start us out of car number 65 from Passerit, Anawat, Patra to get us underway on the run down to turn number 1. Watch as they slice and dice, and it's actually going to be the better start. I believe that was the 65 entry that got their way on through, but that looks like nearly the 14 entry. Sorry, my apologies, this is the 55. So Tanner Patra's got the blinding getaway and jumped a whole bunch of spots as we jump on board car number 14 and Natnin. Running down to our first timing loop in turn number 3 for the first time of the next 60 minutes. Here comes race number 8 of their championship.
Final one as well. So here, paddle shifters on board the number 14, one of our turbocharged Super Touring entries here in the YK Motorsports Honda CRZ. And a good run for Natnid off the corner. And she got past her from the city line. 9 teammate passer from Sombat. Side by side though, looks like Anathorn wants to get back ahead of Tanner Patra and will do so through the turn 4 sweeper. Tanner Patra then immediately is salted by Passerit into turn 5, and looks like that'll be side by side to at least the next turn here, as a bit of movement further on down the order. A lot of single file though, having sorted things out. We wait here at turn 7, and Tanner Patra has seen off the attack from Passerit, so holds on to second place at least, having started in 4th in that blue Honda CRZ. Oh, out wide there in the back.
Well, I tell you what, there's actually just a touch of rain. It won't be much, it'll just be a light spattering. But basically between now until 1 o'clock, there's a chance that we could get some sprinkles. You can see the clouds in the background. Just went for a bit of a look on some of the radars. Highest chance of rain probably in the next couple of hours here all afternoon. Something about a 35% chance that we'll see some rain, so it shouldn't affect the speed. It might just make things a touch greasy. And there is some of the speedy dry that's been applied to the final corner after all those issues at the tail end of the Super Pickup race. The greasy conditions in the last corner, particularly on the wider line. Might want to narrow that one up slightly. Race leader, Adam Thorne from Tanner Patra. At this point in time, Passerit from Sombat qualified towards the point. Won the race yesterday, on with a chance to do that again today. But he'll need to look after the tyres. He'll need to bring himself in. He'll need to survive the pit win. And don't forget as well, success time for winning yesterday's race means that he will have a longer time in pit lane today. Pinch of the brake on the outside on the run down to turn number 3. At the moment, Adam Thorne is doing a sufficient job to move his way through the field. I'll tell you what, first sector time. Purple just gone for Nathan in the number 14 car. 4th on the road, there it is. in its red liveried entry. Coming the way of the YK Motorsports outfit. So for the moment, everyone's nice and clean as they go about their racing.
Let's check that box here so far, lap 2 at least. So that's a good initial sign, but, well, we've seen good initial signs so far today, and that's not amounting to a whole lot of much by the end of the race. So keep it all in mind that, you know, it's could certainly change at a moment's notice, depending on how they're feeling out there in these cars. As looking here at one of the few non-Honda CRZs entered this weekend. Also critically the fact that it's, I believe, a new entry this weekend, which actually meant their top time penalty claimed for race 1. There's a bit of back and forth here between the winning 38 Toyota Yaris and the 88 Honda City. It's sporting the Honda badge, but again, a non-CRZ entry. And that there would be Yacht Saroon driving the 88 machine, fighting with Tim Thomas. In that as, after a good race yesterday, it would appear that John Sack Naklar's Ford Fiesta, which has been unreliable at the best of times, especially here at Chang, might just have bit the bullet again.
For him yesterday, he moved up a whole host of points in terms of the championship standings as well. So was on actually to move well and truly inside the top 10. There is an opportunity for a few drivers to pick away at that then in the back half of this one, and that was a big old moment for the 57 entry as they got down and through turn number 4. Nudapong behind the wheel. On board that one. He'll hand over to Pimpole at the pit stop. Oh, and it's gone again! So there might have been a tyre drama. Regardless, gets out the other side just. I've no idea how he's wrestled that one back.
Yeah, close with that one. That's why I can't see anything immediately visually apparent. Let's have a look at this on replay. Maybe just overdrove it, trying to keep the that Honda City on his outside behind him. And then, as you say, well, it's absolutely wild ride that eventually has him facing the correct direction, which allows him to recover the car.
That's going to put a nasty mark on those tyres as well, so he might be a concern later on with the amount of sliding those tyres went for. Might have to look after that car and just look to bring it home after what was a massive moment. And second to the lap as well. Battle now for P2, Thanapatra against Natnid. On the racetrack, Natnid will take the inside line down into turn number 3. Outdrive him in a straight. And now it's going to be the crisscross for the 55 machine. Thanapatra will try and get back underneath. Not quite able to get there and complete the over and under. Drive off down, back straight towards turn 4. And the 14 car is always impressive through the speed traps. Has been the only car, one of 2 cars to get inside the 200 kilometer an hour marker in terms of a straight line. The other one was the Mazda, 206.5, supreme in a straight line by some margin. So that's how they're getting their speed. And yeah, go ahead.
So that was done back on lap 1 for the Mazda 6 in Anna. Hasn't had the last couple of laps, has settled back in around what everyone else is doing. Still a little higher than most, at 198 kilometers an hour, but as lofty a height as the 206 speed trap. So lap 1, and yes, folks, we've only been racing for 7.5 minutes. We have our first black and white flag for track limits, and it's going to land in the hands of the 88, that Honda City, which I think was right around the 57, which had that wild ride at turn 7. Saroon has apparently been a little too egregious with the racing circuit so far, and it's closely followed up by Tanakorn in the number 22 YK Motorsports Honda CRZ, also getting the black and white flag track limits.
So Seward's on them inside the first 10 minutes. That's going to be a very, very long race to try and keep the car on the island. But then again, field's starting to stretch out a little bit. Half the work's already done in terms of the track position that you're looking to try and gain. I love the way that the 55 entry's gone. We'll run one headlight. It'll be on the right-hand side, the left-hand side. That's our intake. Or at least a part of the intake for car 55. Just a unique way about getting airflow to the engine compartment. Also might be a reason that they're not necessarily all that quick in a straight line.
Well, it's the best speed trap recorded on this current lap, 197.1 kilometers per hour. It's above average, but definitely only about maybe 5th or 6th fastest on the track at this stage. Very best.
Still staying with Natned too. Not able to pull away at all. Patch really, really quick through the middle sector of the lap. Looks to be one of the quickest cars. Experience time. I think he's set a new PB in sector 2, and it was the fastest time through that sector on the lap. I guarantee you, if there just wasn't that annoying 14 car in the way, there would have been even more pace on board the 55 entry. By the way, that car leads the way in terms of championship standings as well. And that battle on track is first and second in the championship. 7 points is the margin that Natned will need to outscore alongside teammate Thanaroj, Thanapatra and Chanaknan. So that battle will keeping an eye on throughout the duration today, because that is really, really important for both of those teams.
And for those not in the know, unlike our Super Eco and pickup races, which run a sprint point scheme, 20 points from here and 10 steps in there, not perfectly equal. We do run the Formula 1 point scheme here in the 60-minute races. So 25 for the race win, 18 for second. If Natned or Thanaroj in the back half of the race can get that car up to the lead and then hold it there, we go tight on points. We'll have to do some back calculations, although looking at it, the 55 already has 3 race wins this season. They probably win on countback. So if Natned and Thanaroj want to win this, they've got to win it on outright points. They can't afford to, they can't resort to a countback.
The 8 points required, basically, is the margin that we've got to work with for those two cars that are on screen at the moment. So at the moment, the 65 of Adam Thorne has bolted down the road. So this is going to come back to the lower rated drivers. The drivers that start in Q1 and the tail end of the race yesterday are going to be critical to this one. How about Passerit Promsombat as well, driving his way up to the rear end of these two as they go at it. 0.4 of a second faster on that most recent lap. Have a look at how quick the 65 car is through turn 1. And the minimalist racing mirrors design as well. The only downside with those mirrors, you can't fold them back. Any impact on them is going to lean directly on the car. But they are not punching a massive hole in the air. But they're also not going to give you a whole bunch of visibility either side as well. So you've got to learn to handle that. Benefits is the straight line profile of that car through the air.
How's it work? Every performance advantage comes with some other kind of trade-off is probably the most apt description of the situation. Okay. Just sort of, so I mentioned, right, we had already picked up 2 cars with black and white flags. Try another 6 cars with black and white flags. And some of them are starting to show up here at the bottom of the screen. So we're now up to a grand total of 8 cars that have already pushed the limits too much. in the first 13 minutes of the race, Scott, and are going to be closely policed by race control as to whether they continue to exceed track limits and possibly pick up time penalties that will have to be added to their pit stops.
Yeah, so definitely don't want to do that. And for Passerit from Sombat, he already knows that he's got that penalty effectively looming over his head if he crosses those lines. He's got to do the rest of that race on board that car without challenging the track limits too much. He has been punching out, taking time out of these two cars ahead of him. And then Thorn, by the way, 1 second quicker than Nat Nid on that most recent lap, as it was displayed on the timing totem. And there goes the 14 car, making the most of the track limits at the final corner. What's the lap time going to be this time by? 56.9 plays a 57.2. So there was a mistake from Nat Nid on the previous lap. And he's rectified that, and pace has certainly returned to that car. Passerit from Sombat starting to close in. Here comes the number 8 entry of Athapong. Over the TPK Racing Team entry, starting to chase down that of Mana on board the Mazda in the Zickfeelik Innovations car, and the Mazda, the quickest car in a straight line so far this weekend.
It would be kind of, I think, actually one of those things with data analysis and capture. It's like, well, we have the best VMAX, and every time they go through, we get the last VMAX. It would be fascinating to graph out that shift from top speed to average speed, because, like, even speaking of that Mazda real quick, still at 206 is the top speed, best top speed, and it's now doing 195, 196 through the track. So he's lost a bit of straight line speed. So, in fact, every car has. It's all down by 2 to 5 kilometers an hour on this speed trap runs. So it's this fascinating thing where you can plot it all out and show which cars perhaps have been tuned for peak performance versus what cars are delivering a consistent performance down that trap run. But we'll talk about that another time. Got some racing here to worry about on the track. Teo, yes, as the Thorn has the inside for turn 10, or 9, sorry. No, that is 10. 9 is the first of those right-handers. This is 10. Here. Oh, I can have a track. 8, 9.
Yep. 9, 10, 11. 11's the right hand at the crest of the hill here, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and as the Thorn picks off another spot, he'll move his way up into 15th spot from Nick Teo and look to start punching away at the cars just ahead of him. That car's slowly coming to him, but at this point in time they've lost such a dramatic amount to what is the battle for P2. As finally to the inside, Thanapatra on the run out of turn 3, and have a look at Passerit Promsombat. In the background, there's an opportunity here, and it's the 2 YK Motorsports entries. There was a lock of a break from Passerit Promsombat in that battle for P3, and didn't carry great momentum off the corner. Thanapatra, and that's cost him because he did get the move down. Thanapatra was smart about it, went back and got the drive out the other side. Now he's vulnerable to Passerit, who's going to try and go around the outside as well. Backed out of it. Have a look at the cloud cover. Those clouds are looking just a fraction dark in the background as well. Here comes the dive from the 7 machine. YK Motorsports entry. Gets it to the inside, parks it up, looking to hold him narrow at the apex of the corner. It gets driven back around. Thanapatra needs to make sure he hangs on a P3. He looks like he's a touch faster than Natnit up ahead. But if he's having to defend, that pace is not being realised. That's not an actualised gain for him, and he's going to start to lose ground to the 14 car. And you can see some of the opposite lock Passerit was having to put on there as well. Pinch of the rear tyres. They'll do that with the unloaded rear tyres. They don't do a lot of work just for braking. All the power going through the front axles, and the battle continues.
It's quite a dramatic slowdown off turn 3 there. So bad shift of some kind, I think. Although a lot of these CRZs are running sequential gearboxes, so it also really sort of makes it a bit of a confusion. There's first time penalty of the race, and it gets added on to the pit stop at this point in time because we have that option. Number 39 machine, which is currently running down in 16th place. It's Baron Ship Teo in Motorsports, Toyota Yaris. They're going to have to stay a little longer in the pits for continued abuse of track limits.
Think about those two drivers as well after they popped out of Super Eco earlier on. They only had about half an hour to get turned around and get ready for this race on the Super Touring entry that they share together. And is that the indicator of the 88 machine saying go down the inside, or I'm going to the inside? As Yotsarun races against Chaya. No, I think the indicator was just on accidentally. No hole is going to be left for the Chaya car. New colours, new preparation for that car. I believe this one used to be the M&M yellow entry 92 car with Chakras parts and Chayar on board. At least it has been a point from the history of the last couple of years of this category. So changing colours, I think that's just for the final race for the weekend too, or the season. Might be looking forward to something new in 2026. And there is a car off the road down here in Sector 3. Very wide and very slow. And it might be the 31 car, I think. More time penalties, more time penalties. They're just coming through thick and fast at the moment.
More cars are getting the black and white flag as well as their first step on the road to a penalty too. So it's getting a little feisty out there. There's the second car to get the penalty. Yeah. Yotsarun pushing that Honda City too far. As I say that, yeah, another two cars with black and white flags for sitting on the track. And it's just at this point, which car is not going to get themselves a penalty? Or at the very least, the black and white flag.
Very wide? No.
And the Single Motorsport Team Thailand car of Super Kit is going to wait for the gap to open up very nicely on the inside to take that. It's 8th place away from the number 8 Adapong. Now line up trading it for that 7th place.
He's going to try and come across and see if he can't go around the outside as well. Are we going to be 3-1 on the run into turn 4? We certainly are. And Super Kit backed out, but around the outside and off the track for the number 8 entry. Wants that spot back, not quite going to get it. Super Kit as well. It's an interesting development for him to see him in Super Touring here this weekend. Growth, an extra ability to go racing, and it was the 88 car that we were seeing, the DC Garage entry. Kuroki Racing, I think that's down at turn 3, he's just gone behind the wall.
Locked up at the left side rear corner, but looks like that's thankfully a bit of a harmless touch for now from Teo. Had a ENG Motorsports Toyota Yaris, but Toyota on Toyota violence there apparently. But that time he's just updated. Passer has dropped a couple of spots to 4th place. Apparently. Or is that maybe just a timing freak out?
They were, yeah, because remember he's been sitting there in 4th place watching on the two drivers ahead of him as they battle for it. Then a Pat was just going really quick on that lap back down in the 57s, which is good time from him. And then Thorne started to back the pace down. He was down in the 55s and 56s at one point and hung there for a very good period of time. He's now back into the high 57s. So speed's starting to fall away from the tyres as they're just going off a fraction. I'll tell you who is quick at the moment is the 38 entry, Timothy Thomas for the Winghin Motorsports car. They're down in 12th spot. They just ran a 57.9. There are 3 cars running in the 1 minute 57s, and they were one of them a long, long way down. They took a second out of 22 entry at Denicorn. They'll be chasing down on this next lap. That's on just in behind this little group of cars as well. And here comes another assault for the number 8 of Athapong. Was trying to get Super Kit to cover. Super Kit obliged and was much quicker through turn 4. this point in time. Worthwhile pointing out, the battle for first, second, third in terms of where they're going to shake out in terms of compensation time. 90-second pit stop for the car in the lead. Next shortest is 95 for Danapatra and Chanaknan. Then it's 100-second pit stop for car number 14. So they're going to lose 5 seconds to the 55. 109 seconds for Passerit Promsombat. So he is going to lose 14 seconds. 14 seconds to car 55. So he definitely wants to get down the road if he can and start eating into that battle. But he's lost 2 seconds to those guys now. And you'll have to go back out there and after it. Natnet is starting to drop speed, and the speed is starting to come to car 55. Just ran a 57.2, nearly their fastest lap of the race. They were just a second quicker than both of the cars either side of them. So if Danapatra can keep that pace up for the next few minutes until he has to do a pit stop, all of a sudden he's going to come right back at all of the cars he's in and around.
Well, it's one of those factors that we have to pay attention to here in these 60-minute races. And I do like it, because, yeah, it doesn't mean it's purely an out-and-out race. And the penalties don't stack. So, like, if you were to win every single race, times wouldn't extend to be 15 seconds every race. Late lunge from Natnet at turn 5 doesn't eventuate, though. Danapatra able to drive it in deep enough to stay ahead. But the pit window opens before they get back to the start-finish line. So, noting these drivers supposedly are the fastest drivers in each of these lineups, I don't think we'll see anyone in just yet, but you never know. Maybe someone will have a bit of a gamut. There it is. Pit window is now open until the 25-minute mark to get your compulsory pit stop complete.
The window opens. Who's going to be the first drivers and teams to dive on into the pit lane? And for 10 minutes, we'll have ourselves the opportunity. The 55 car is going to barrel straight into the pit lane, but that's the dust that's down. Also the 14 on the way in as well. I'd say race control is probably going to be a little bit considerate of the pit lane entry, given that there is the amount of stuff on the lane entry there. They're not going to, just allow you to go wherever you want in a pit lane, diving massively off track. But if you're right there, actually, critical to this pit stop as we look at the moment, 5-second time penalty for continued abuse of track limits, 55. That eats in that there is now no advantage effective between car 14 and car 55. If they're smart, the 55 will serve that penalty right here as a part of their pit stop if it was informed to them in time. And I don't know that it was.
The message went out about 10, not even, barely 15 seconds before the pit window was officially open.
There was time. There was time to read it if they are aware. And what will be the allowance from race control? Will they allow them to serve it? Because it did not come out with the message to pit stop time. It was just 5-second time penalty. So I don't think that will be applied to their pit stop time. Because every other team that we've seen pick up a penalty prior to the window had a message that accompanied it. So that changes things. That does change things. If we get a safety car on the back half of this race, you would prefer to serve it at the pit stop. Because then it's done. It's handled. You don't have to worry about it. $79 in. Let's read off the car numbers that come through for a pit stop. 55, 14, 36, 8, 39, 57, 15, 79, 31, and car 4. Although Kajon Sak has been in the pit lane for an extended period of time, his weekend is done.
There we go. 1 minute 41 plays, 1 minute 40. I think they did get that message just in time, and they've added the time in for the stop. Because as you said, 95 seconds was the actual documented time for the 55. Yeah, they've done it in 100. Oh, there you go. Change on track and bodywork damage to the 55. We just missed something there off screen as I came out of the pits. I think we did.
There was definitely contact to that. It's ripped a significant chunk off. And the problem will be that is going to come off somewhere. It's likely going to be in this high-speed section down here. And hopefully it flings itself a mile outside the track limits. I wanted to keep on with that shot just to see if it was going to happen. We'll just have to wait. And the next shot that we see might tell us the story. By the way, just giving an update. Well, is that a flat tire then? Front left corner, have a look at the front left corner.
Looks okay for now. We're definitely going to need the replay, folks, to be able to pick that one apart. Here it comes. Right, into turn 5. Was there something here? There's a gap between them still. Oh no, here comes the lunge. And at the apex, bang! Solid hit into the left side.
Great save,
now driving that car, Shannon Kuhn. And you get another angle of it here, Scott.
Oh, you know what? He's turned in, and he wasn't there at the point of turn in. That was a late bomb. Unfortunately, the dive bomb came late from car number 55. There's been contact. Could we see another race go to the stewards and another championship battle go to the stewards? And that's relevant because they're fighting for it. Those two cars for the championship, 110 points for car 55 at the conclusion of yesterday's race, 103 points for car 14, Denaroj. There's car 22 who rejoins in the mix. Looks like they've gained track position. More cars feeding off in a pit lane in the background. Circuit's getting darker. Cloud cover thicker overhead. Wind kicking up just a fraction. Rain is in the area, but not at the racetrack.
So much possibility and potential. Meanwhile, cars that have yet to stop here, such as the number 19 of Triton. So is that 50? Sorry, 72 definitely is the CMS Team Thailand car. 57 there. Where are they on the timings now? Oh, they have stopped, my apologies. So we've actually got a stopped and unstopped battle here, which means there's technically blue flags in effect. But 57 machine, which will now have Peempole driving. Not looking to give it up to Super Kid, who's going to have to force his way past in turn 5 on the brakes.
And whilst rain is going to creep in and hit the city, the district of Buriram and the central city of Buriram itself, this racetrack lies away just outside the district to the south. And it is going to circulate and circumvent the race circuit based upon current forecasts. Based on current forecasts. And that information changes minute by minute, as it always does.
I think the fact you brought attention to it now, you've threatened what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised if it just stays away. Just to rub salt into the wound that you may have created. But there we go. Only a handful of cars left to pit. Passer Pomsombat makes himself not one of those drivers. He'll basically... Oh, they want him a little closer up. But it's okay. It's good enough. It'll do. So it's just going to be a pressure check for now from these guys. They won't need to change the tyres just yet. Get some air inside the cockpit. Here's another look at something down at turn 3. So this would have been...
I've looked at the 14 in the background, directly chasing. That was Cheneknun going by Verovic for position, and that puts them second of the drivers who have made their pit stop at this point in time. So what, car 56 and a short pit stop from Nuchanon brought them into contention.
Yeah, they're sitting ahead with Chanakun and Tanaroj and Verovic. He's also been brought into this battle between the two, like Anglo Sports CRZ with those 85, 70 short stops. Working out very nicely for them. So, Tire 72, okay, stop 90 seconds. Standard is most other cars, so they should make their way back out into the mid-pack. And race control going to have a closer look at contact on the straight at the turn 2 kink, as well as that one we caught on the replays at turn 5, between 5 and 14. So that is not done yet, folks, with a minute 40 left on the pit window time.
Race leader.
Your race leader will indeed get to the lane to complete their stop. That just means that Nattinen and Traitonen in the number 19. Nope, they're in the pit lane now. That will be it. The cars with a stop complete. Well, still cars remaining for the stop, and check all the boxes.
Shannon Chicha, you're going to get on board car number 65 for 66. Shottenen will take over from Anawat. And change on board for both of those cars within the time window. And the pit stop windows make sure that those driver swaps aren't too pressured for time. You definitely got to get in the car. You definitely got to be smart about it, but not at the high rate of speed, banging legs, banging helmets on the way in. No, you got time. You just need to make sure that you're just nice and clean about the way that you get in the car, and thoughtful and respectful. This battle, Passerit Pro Tom Bat's going to go around the outside at turn 5 and contact with car 36, which is Wong Si-yun. And that is going to potentially break the steering on the right front corner of the Fire Monkey Motorsports machine.
Yep, elbows out, bump, grind, but the cars appear to have continued on it, at least, although you can see they're out of the way. And then another moment up at turn number 9, just gives it a wide for that pass to happen, and another pass down at turn 3. That'd be a little bit to the sports. Toyota Yaris is indeed, timer has hit 0, which means the pit window is now closed. Oh no! Right as the window closes, right as I say that car looks like it might be all right. No, that left front doesn't look particularly happy over there, Scott. Is that tyre wobbling around a bit? I think it might be.
The rim,
Nevertheless, for Wong Sin-yu, I think he's down towards turn 3. I can't say for certain. With that zoomed in, it's parked up somewhere. Either way, it's not ideal.
Jumping out of the way. This is the battle between Tayo and Thanaroj at the moment. I think this might be about for a 4th or 5th spot on the track. It's down the inside, gets better drive off the corner for Thanaroj to pick that spot up. Car 55 is just in front of these guys, which is, again, a little bit of impetus. You got chasing
go.
after earlier contact. There it is, and that'll be a safety car. No, they're going to leave yellow flags.
Slow yellow for now.
That's at 8.
Yeah,
there's
8.
9, so that's turn 8.
Yeah. Still green flag situation, so no passing at turn 8. It's a little close to the track, and they're probably going to have to send cars out to recover it. And if they do send a safety car out to compress the field, ladies and gentlemen, do I have an absolute doozy of a comment for you here. This car on screen, your current championship leader, has picked themselves up a 15-second time penalty for the contact with the 14 YK Motorsports CRZ back before the pit stops. If we can press the field, we might have ourselves a major situation championship-wise, because here's what they've just been pinged for again on replay.
Point of turning for that corner. He was not up far enough. It was aggressive. It was a late move, and there was definitely a hole opening on cold tyres. But you've got to be a fraction further ahead to make that one. But Thanaroj, he doesn't have to leave the margin there. He's very lucky to walk away with it. It was a wild ride. And now, be a championship leader, he's just got to go. There's nothing more that he can do. 15 seconds worth of time penalties coming his way. He's got to go out. He's got to drive the wheels off this thing. He's never going to get to the race leader. Well, he might, if there's enough time. The car 14 is just in behind. Car number 19 is there on pace. This is a four-way battle for P2 on the racetrack. And that panel is staying attached to Chanaknan. 15 seconds. What can he do about this? Well, he's going to get a little bit of help as they go side by side on the run down through turn 4. This is time that's all being eaten away from Danaroj. But Danaroj makes the apex nice and cleanly at turn 5. That's critical. They've both just got to drive the wheels off this thing. Get as far as they possibly can down the racetrack. 7 points. The margin in the championship. 21 minutes left in the racing season. And things just change. Well, they're not going to get the race win. They're not going to, without a safety car, they are not getting to that race win. And I don't see car 38 there anymore. That has been cleared out of the way.
So the local yellows have served their purpose and allowed us to keep on racing. Critically now, I just need to wait for the data to update again once these cars will cross the line. But when I last checked, a 15-second penalty will drop the 55 M&M shopper tyre, that bright blue, metallic blue CRZ there, all the way back to 10th place. That's what they stand to lose at this point in time. So, Danaroj to second, and that'll flip the championship wide open.
So what do they need to do? If car 14 finishes second, which is on track to do at the moment, it's 18 points, which means that they'd have to try and finish 4th.
They have to be, yeah, 4th. No, but no worse than 4th.
Is the 72 car, which is just in behind this grouping, potentially going to be the saving grace for car 55? Because all of a sudden, if they finish 3rd, car 14 finishes 3rd, then you know that changes things as well. Becomes 15 points, which means 8 points is good enough, and 8 points is what, 6th?
It's a P6 finish, yeah. Either way, they've got to put the hammer down, because they're still going to come drop back to 10th. So this final 19.5 minutes plus the extra lap that comes after that, they're going to have to be the fastest car on the track by far to try and work their way through all these cars behind them. So the race is on here as Chen and Chicha will start the 21st lap of their race. Just over 19 minutes to go in this one.
What's the lap time's going to be as they come past the start-finish line this time by 57.8. Reasonable pace. They put 0.6 of a second over P4, P5. They gapped by over a second. There is still time to eke out some margin, but it's got to be 4th place. If they can run that pace for such a long period of time, it's possible. And we're going to be sitting here and scrambling over our timing screens until every car has finished the last lap of the race, because that is when we'll know, and we'll get the updated position standing at the end of this race. It is so crucial. This one will not be done.
The head scratcher to cover them all, I think, is the way to put this. Well, I wouldn't ask for it any other way, really, despite all of that. Just that little bit of chaos and spice to go with. And the fascinating thing is, at this stage, they appear to be making gap on the cars behind. Whether they're making enough of a gap, though, is the question that remains to be seen. Another replay coming our way here, Scott. Looks like we've got ourselves 31 to 79, quite different on pace. So one of the easier passes I've seen today, down into the turn 3 hairpin there.
Good job. Let's visit Pong. Getting inside and getting the job done. I'd be very happy with that move. Race leader. Now clear by 12 seconds. I tell you what, they made a mistake on the last lap because Janet Nguyen took over a second out of them. And the margin between first and fifth place on that last lap, and last lap times on the board, because this is really relevant. Have a look at Janet Nguyen to Teo. 1 second was eked out. It's going to take a lot more than what we've currently got, but there is still yet time. It's currently a 10-second margin between second place back to sixth place. And they're eking 1.4 out. That is comfortable.
Like right now,
Does that mean
they fall into... They still fall into 10th place with a 15-second penalty, but they are quickly approaching the point where they're going to pass a whole host of cars on time penalty, and yeah, turn the screws. Side by side between two of those cars fighting position here. It's going to be Nabil going past Nuchanon though, so that's for P6. This is where there was a sort of a bottleneck starting to form. Has that bottleneck just relieved itself with the Wing King Motorsports Yaris passing the Zikfirlik Innovation Mazda?
Cost them both time. Cost them both time. Now crawling along in the background as well, starting to roam up on that car is the 66 entry Chotnin as well. Penalties. Think about track limit penalties. Could that play a factor in everything to the back end of this race? Margin for second to third is 1.5 seconds. Margin back to fourth is 3.5 seconds. Back to fifth is 6.1 seconds. Or at least it was at the last time by the start-finish line. We'll get another update. Fastest car on the track, car 55, 58.035. So for Janet Nguyen, if they win this championship, this has to be the best that car has driven all year. At the right time, 15 minutes, 1/4 of an hour to go. Oh, we've been delivered to some all-time classics for championships here today, Dan.
We have indeed, and their penalty would now put them right behind that number 66 CRZ from the next to RMR Motorsports lineup.
One more lap and it's going to put them ahead of seventh
One more
spot.
lap, it'll put them ahead of it, possibly even get ahead of Nuchanon in that Mazda 2 and secure 6th place for themselves, or 7th place, sorry, for themselves. There's another reminder from Race Control of the current state of black and white flags. They're being dished out once again. 22, 79 and 19, the next cars to run afoul of freebies that they're permitted, excesses that are allowed. That's Thompson back here on screen, Scott. 11th place for him, so no points at this stage. Unless there's a car ahead in range, it's going to get a time penalty, which I don't see so.
Anything could yet happen. Anything could yet happen. How many times have we seen tyre failures in the last 5 or 10 minutes as this battle pack starts to battle each other? Car 22 was just given a warning for track limits. He might not have had any opportunity at that point in time. They're fourth in the championship as well.
Chase Chakas Parks and Berovich have just eaten up the 66 and shot it in. So they'll both jump forward into 8th and 9th place respectively. Oh, we need the updated gaps when they come
hang on. Hang on, that'll just... No, that's the race leader. That's the race leader into the pits. Car 65's got some sort of issue.
Wow.
Is that a tyre? Surely the only reason they'd be coming in is a tyre. Yeah, it's a tyre.
Oh, it's happened again.
You know, Dan, you know, the worst part is that actually changes the championship because it won't matter.
The race win. Yeah, the 14 would get the race win on elevation.
No. Oh.
Hang on. So if the 14 is now elevated to the race win after a penalty for the 55 is processed post-race, The 55 has to now clear everyone and stay in second place. To win on countback.
Only spot.
Oh.
They're not going to do it in time. They are not going to do it in time. There's no way they can.
They're only gapping those cars behind by about 7 to 8 tenths a second per lap. They're not making enough inroads. Yeah, on the cars.
The pace out of car 14 did fall away a little bit on that most recent lap. So all of a sudden you just go, well, is that a tyre just starting to come apart? Is that a tyre cooking? Is that a tyre melting? The innards just going away from it. The benefit of the hand cook is, and this is sort of a point I've been thinking about this category from Buriram, is that it takes a lot out of the tyre. It puts it through its paces. But is this team perhaps running too much camber, too much toe on those tyres? Just abusing them just a little bit too much.
It would suggest
I was
so.
looking back through results. The only one of those two that's had a DNF is actually car 55, and I think that was to do with a tyre issue at some point in time.
Yeah, the first time they came to Chang this year was a bloodbath on tyres, up and down the field. And yes, if I recall correctly, they had a spectacular tyre failure that caused a complete loss of control. If there was a tyre completely falling off the car. I mean, it's been nearly 4 months since that race. But if I remember correctly, that was our moment. We saw the tyre and rim assembly. The whole thing fell off the car, and they tried to wheel it around on three corners. They proceeded to then lose control of the car and beach it in a gravel trap.
Could that come back to haunt them?
I think
Could that come back to haunt them?
It might just. The current situation is, time penalty-wise, they are now sitting 5th after that 15-second penalty is processed. They need to somehow find another 10 seconds over Natanan, and they're only half a second faster than the number 19 in P3. They're going to need a lot more than half a second a lap.
Saving grace might be Teo, and the other thing is Nabila's land at the moment is just over 12 seconds. They were 2 tenths slower in the most recent lap than our race leader. Again, fastest car on the racetrack is our race leader. So they are doing everything that they possibly can, everything within their power. If Nabila's land catches Teo, that might be enough to make those cars fight enough. But the difference between second and third in points is 18 to 15. That would mean we have a championship winner by 2 points. Sorry, it would be by 3 points, my apologies. They'd be dead even if they finished first and second on the road with car 14 with the win. So the final 9 minutes, the only saving grace at the moment for car 55, unless it somehow finds some speed, is a mechanical failure for car 14. Or perhaps enough cars in behind them to just lose something. Anything could happen.
You want something, Scott? So I got something for you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They were 1.1 seconds faster than P3 last lap. It's not quite enough, but several laps of that, and in fact, there you go. There they are. The times of that 1 whole second faster than Tanaroj and 1.1 faster than Natanan. I think Chanakul needs more lap time per lap. He needs to see 1.2, 1.3, hell, probably closer to 2 seconds a lap at this point. Because again, we're going to be around 7 minutes to go when we get to the start-finish line again. So it's only going to be another 4 laps in this race. Gap from first to third is currently 6.5. And on this current lap, it's practically a dead heat between first and third to second two. Is that maybe only a one lap dash moment?
Yeah, just might have been a mistake for car 19. They need more than that. How about this car? A tyre failure for Chen and Chicha whilst leading the race and leading it comfortably has robbed them of a race win and changed our championship battle. Think about this, if this car was still leading the race, if the tyre failure had not happened, The highest that Danaraj and Nat Ned could finish would be second place. 18 points they would score. Fourth place would be good enough. What, if 65 had another car tyre failure, I think we'd be looking at car 55 being champions. How interesting is that it's the results that are out of their hands that are actually going to affect this one?
Yeah. We're going to have a look at a replay here of Ayrton as the Thorn. Bit of rear locking into turn 5, but the 22, Verovic, very wide through turn 5, and the door is opened to turn 6 as a result. Do they get through there? It looked like, as we just cut away from the replay, that maybe there was more to that story. But by the time we return to the racing on circuit, as the Thorn across the line in 8th place ahead of Verovic, and he's now got Passer from Bat behind as well. So it's a double YK Motorsports counter-offensive here on the Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand entry, and boxed out of the apex at turn 3. As the Thorn wanted to turn in, he's told no. Better drive. You might just get it back here on the run
in the championship, Dan. This is third in the championship between these two right now. By the way, 64 points for Ayrton as the Thorn plays 62 points for Verovic, and Passer at Promsombat just says, all right, boys, thanks for the fight. I'll take 2 for 1 on the run down to turn 4. He picks up a couple spots. He'll be very, very happy with that one. And as the Thorn gets down the inside, a lot of rear locking. Passerit fails to pull the car up. There might be a flat right front on that car now, with the way that handled on the run into that corner. Has he got back up to speed? I tell you what, it looks low on the right front corner of the car. But he's up to speed, so it might have just been failing to pull the car up.
All these possibilities, and then you go, lap traffic to worry about here in the final 5 minutes, folks. Oh, and then, move aside, oh dear. The lawn mowing from Verovic. He tries to get past the 25 car of Norat. That's second Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand entry. And yeah, possibly a bit of a show there from Passerit, how not impressed they are by potentially some convenient car positioning from the second of Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand Yaris's. And Varenchik going to arrive on the scene here and join the party.
Oh, Dan, don't. I don't know if you've seen the gaps. And last lap time, have a look at the difference between our race leader as the times continue to fall off. The margin now back to 4th spot is now over 15 seconds. So Nabila's Lamb would need to be running faster lap times than our race leader in order to get that one back. It's gonna change up. It's gonna go to 3rd spot for our race leader with a 15-second time penalty. Smoke on the entry to turn 3. Promsombat gets through on car 22 with Verovic behind the wheel. 4 minutes on the clock. Car 22, 5-second time penalty for continued abuse of track limits.
So as you said, there's some championship implication. Vachi, not massively, with Verovic. They're only going to lose 1 spot to Varenchik. Adapong is so far back down the road. That won't matter too much. But Verovic would then be demoted to... Actually, be demoted to outside the points with that time penalty. What does that do to the lead there?
I'm just looking at it at the moment, so I'll give you an update.
You might do that. Meanwhile, Chanakun has just started another lap. We're going to have 3 more laps in this race. Remember, folks, the timer must reach 0 before the final lap board is displayed. 58.5 from your race leader, Chanakun. 59.4 from Tanaroj. The gap up to 5 seconds between them. That doesn't matter. 59.2 from Natanan. So 7/10 gains. Still not making big gains. Talk about that later though, because the juking is on here. Passerit tries to park up Varenchik, but Varenchik will still go past. So an exchange there for 10th place, which will become 9th, thanks to that penalty for Verovic, unless these two fight so hard they fall back by 5 seconds.
I can tell you, I just went digging. So first and second, 110 plays 103 points. Car 55 plays car 14 respectively. Third place is Ayrton Asdathorn. He's all the way back on 64 points. Such was the margin that those 55 and 14 cars have put over the others. That shell has lodged itself and it's in a much better spot than it has been all race long. There'll still be 2 more laps to go at the conclusion of this one for car 55. Pace is still looking good though. It's just not good enough. So third place in the championship, 51 of Asdathorn, sits 8th on the road. Is a potential to take some points away from 56 as he closes in on them on the last couple laps, but he looks set to take third spot. Car 22 is in fourth spot, was a 2-point margin. It's back to 56 points. So a margin of 8 points to Ayrton Asdathorn. It's car 66. Well, they're out of the running today, down in 16th spot. 6th place is the 25, and we've already talked about their off the lead lap. No points for them today. 7th spot will be Varanchit and Nick Teo, and they've just moved themselves inside the points as well, but they are too far back to make it matter. So that overtake we did see from Asdathorn, that was relevant to third and standing.
2 more laps. The Beal actually faster than your race leader on that last lap. The gap between first and fourth is 15.4 seconds. Chano Kun is only just going to keep fourth place. It's still not going, third place. It's still not going to matter for the purpose of the championship. P1 versus P3, once you apply the penalties, is still going to turn the championship back the way of YK Motorsports and Tanner Roche and Nat Nip. Just got to finish this race off, it feels like. Be able to check that box as eyes on here. Number 19 of Nassanan. 59.9 last lap around. P3 should be fairly comfortably theirs.
Should be P2 after the penalty.
Which will become P2 after the penalty is applied to Channel.
No reason to be resonating considering him Motorsports' attitude of that car. They are pressing on board the Toyota Yaris and trying to do all they possibly can. Because the ultimate goal is, at the start of this lap, they only need to make up about half a second to find themselves on the podium in the final race of the year. Great opportunity for the Yaris to celebrate at the end of the season. Final lap, time has expired. Car 55 will see one more lap. And you take away contact with car 14 in the middle of the race, just after the pit stops as they try to get aggressive. They would be championship leaders. That's the margin between your top 3, all in the main straight. And there is Nabil Aslan as he comes out of the final corner as well. Talk to you about the margin as he comes through to the start-finish line, because I'll have that here in a moment. There it is, crosses the line, 15.964 for Nabil Aslan. So he's back to 16 seconds realistically off the lead. Needs to find a second. 3 seconds is the margin for Natnan. And the pace has started to grade on that car.
They lost 2.5
This is going to be tight.
Oh, if Natnan has a slow last lap, this could shift things. This actually isn't quite done yet.
It's going to come down. No way. No way is this going to come down to the speed on the last lap. And if that time penalty's only 10 seconds, you know what? You know what? The tyre failure would have decided the championship. Car 65 has a right front go flat on that car. That was enough to move these guys from winning a championship. They're gonna cross the line first, but they will not stay there. For Thanarosh, do they know at car 14? The YK Motorsports car will go to the final couple of corners. And in Thailand, it's been a day where championships might be decided in the steward's office. How's the performance of car 55? This is just about going to be their best lap of the season so far. There was nothing in it in the first sector, couple hundredths. There's about 0.7 of a second in the middle sector. They've got to find 2 seconds in the last sector, or else it's going to go the way of car number 14. Thanaroj, Natanid, oh wait, in the background, do we see them? All of a sudden, they're not showing up on the screens as well. I didn't see them come through those last couple of corners. They've made the first sectors well and truly. For car 55, for Channiknon, for Thanapatra, they've done all they can. Here's car 14, potentially going to win the championship after finishing behind the guys on track that they were chasing down. It was contact in the last sector of the race. What happens in terms of the outright finishing positions? What's the margin? It's 13.8 seconds. It's not going to happen. Car 14 will take the win. Dan, by 1.3, less than that, 1.209.
They pushed all the way, and the pace did drop off again for Natanan and Trayton, but it was enough that it didn't put them more than 15 seconds behind behind Channiknon. So indeed, it'll be Thanaroj and Natanid promoted to the race win. Natanan and Trayton promoted to second, and with that, pushing Channiknon and Thanapatra back to third. The championship here in Thailand Super Touring for 2025 will go to the number 14 YK Motorsports entry of Thanaroj and Natanid.
I've never seen penalties decide race results and championship results. I've never seen this many penalties come in the way of championship results at final rounds of final races of final seasons in racing globally. What a day it's been for Thailand Super Series. Thanapatra and Channiknon will cross the line first. They'll get demoted to third. Natanid and Thanaroj will win the race after those penalties have been applied. Natanan will come home in P3. Nabila Aslan drove hard, but just didn't quite get inside that margin. And fastest lap of the day, 56.1 for Thanaroj and Natanid. Oh, my word, Dan. My word. I cannot believe that. That's going to be heartbreak. Because they're going to come home and go, yeah, we drove an amazing race. We got it done. No, boys, you missed out on it. You missed out on it by nothing. Was there more penalties in there as well for car 55?
No, the penalties... Oh, actually, interesting. The results have been updated on our end.
Fourth place.
And it's put them down in fourth place, not put them in third like we were expecting. They were 16 seconds ahead of...
Oh yeah, I see it. There was 5 seconds time penalty for continued abuse of track limits. So it actually, remember we were talking about that at the pit stop. So that's been added in.
But that's interesting. Then that's been applied there. But it still doesn't change the championship outcome. Either way, the number 14 wins the championship with this race win after penalties. But they, I'm sure, will go and argue, well, we did serve the time penalty at the compulsory stop. They only needed to be in the pits for 95 seconds, and instead they stayed in for 100 and won. So they cleared the 5-second penalty through the stop time. So sorry, that explains what's happened there. But regardless, it does mean that, as we'll see here, this is how the podium is officially declared at this current moment. But indeed, jump on the roof of that car to celebrate one race, another race win for the season, and a championship win to go along with it as well.
And they definitely know because they've parked right in front of the winners marker. They're in pit lane. Yeah, car 55 is not associated with the podium whatsoever. So what a dramatic final race for these guys as we head into lunch as well. And a bit of a break for the afternoon. Next one up actually after lunch will be the big one for the weekend as well. It is TSS Supercar GT3s and GTMs for their 60 minutes plus a lap. That'll be kicking off at 1:35 p.m. local time in Thailand. So make sure that you adjust accordingly. And the celebrations for the race win, and they'll know that that'll be a championship win as well for the YK Motorsports team. They get the job done, and everyone up and around Thanaroj for the final stint. A little bit of celebration, I think, from, I believe that was Nabil who came over and gave him a hug as well and said, great job. Gee, tell you what, stewards have had a hard day in terms of just keeping, as they always do from here, and keeping track of track limits. But then for it to go down to that point in time as well.
เอาละครับท่านผู้ชมครับสิ้นสุดลงแล้วนะครับสำหรับรุ่น Thailand Super Touring นะครับ60 นาทีบวกกับอีก1รอบก็ต้องบอกว่าใน60 นาทีนี้นะครับก็มีความสนุกความมันมีเหตุการณ์เกิดขึ้นหลากหลายเลยนะครับและผู้ที่เข้ามาเป็นที่3นะครับในรุ่นนี้นะครับเป็นของ Nabil and Timothy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel for this race?
Yeah, very good. Really pleased with the result. Happy for the team effort. It's really a team effort. We were very unfortunate for the past few rounds, so it's really good that we ended on a high note.
All right. And how about you?
Yeah, I think I want to say thank you to the whole team Wing Hin for the great support this year. I think every race we got better and better, and I'm glad that we walked away with the overall P3 on the last round.
Yes. So what about the next season?
Sorry?
How about the next season?
Yeah, we'll be stronger than ever. Hopefully fighting for the turbo cars also with our NA car. But till then, we're just focusing for the next race.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you. ก็พอใจในผลงานเลยครับแล้วก็แน่นอนว่าสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นในวันนี้ก็คือทำให้เขาได้รู้สึกว่าแฮปปี้สุดๆแล้วก็ขอบคุณทีมงานที่ซัพพอร์ตเขานั่นเองนะครับแน่นอนครับเดี๋ยวเราไปต่อกันที่อันดับ2นะฮะอันดับ2นี่ต้องบอกว่าเป็นนักแข่งหน้าใหม่มากๆเลยแล้วก็ทำได้จริงๆนะฮะยินดีด้วยครับพี่ไตรครับไตรธนิช ฉิมตะวันนะครับแล้วน้องอิมนะครับนัทธนันนะครับเป็นยังไงบ้างครับ
ตื่นเต้นครับ
โอ้โห
หน้าใหม่ฮะตื่นเต้น
เดี๋ยวก่อนพี่ไตรเล่าให้ฟังก่อนว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นใน 2-3 วันที่ผ่านมามีปัญหาอะไรทะเลาะอะไรกับรถก่อน
ก็คือถึงบอกว่าไม่ได้ขับมา10 ปีแล้วนะครับไม่ได้แข่ง10 ปีแล้วก็เพิ่งมาจับรถที่นี่เลยครับแล้วก็อย่างที่บอกว่ารถเนี่ยเราเพิ่งลงสนามแรกก็มาปรับกันที่นี่แหละครับมีทั้งอุปสรรคหลายๆอย่างครับแต่ว่าต้องขอบคุณทีมงานนะฮะไปลงโป๊แล้วก็ทีมงานเอ็นสปอร์ตทุกคนเลยที่ถึงบอกว่าจนสุดท้ายสนามสุดท้ายเราก็ยังจะสู้อยู่
จริงๆพอเราก้าวเข้ามาในช่วงท้ายๆเกมการแข่งขันเนี่ยการเซตรถหรือทีมงานเนี่ยก็เป็นอีกหนึ่งเรื่องสำคัญเลย
เพราะเมื่อวานเรามีแฮนดิแคปด้วยเวลาบอกเวลาเพิ่มแต่วันนี้ไม่มีเวลาที่แฮนดิแคปแล้วก็ที่บอกว่าพอสนามสุดท้ายแล้วเนี่ยก็เต็มที่ทุกคนก็เต็มที่
รู้สึกอย่างไรบ้างกับการกลับเข้ามาอยู่ในสนามแข่งความรู้สึกเป็น
บุรีรัมย์ไปทางไหนประมาณนั้นนะครับตอนแรกไม่ได้มานานมากแต่ว่าอย่างที่บอกว่าดีใจที่กลับมาเจอทุกคนอีกนะครับแล้วก็ยังได้รับการต้อนรับยังได้รับเสียงเชียร์จากทุกคนอยู่วันนี้บอกว่าวงการมอเตอร์สปอร์ตประเทศไทยเนี่ยก็อยากให้คึกคืนแบบนี้ไปตลอดนะครับรายการดีๆอย่างนี้อยากให้ทุกคนมาร่วมกันชมร่วมกันแข่งขันครับ
ถามน้องอิมบ้างเป็นยังไงบ้างครับ
ก็สนุกเลยครับสนุกมากๆเลยครับผม
ชอบอะไรในรุ่นนี้
ชอบเรื่องรถครับเพราะว่าค่อนข้างที่จะแรงและขับหน้าด้วยนะครับสนุกมากครับ
โอ้โหมันจริงๆแล้วก็ทำผลงานได้ดีรักษาเมนเทนในเรื่องของการ race pace ได้ดีด้วยนะครับ
ค่อนข้างโอเคนะเพราะว่ารอบหลังๆน้ำมันก็เริ่มไม่เหลือยางก็ไม่ค่อยเหลือแล้ว
ครับ
ก็เมนเทนต่อไปครับจนได้โพซิชั่นเนี่ย
พี่ไตรครับปีหน้าจะยังไงดีครับ
อันนี้อุบไว้ก่อนครับยังเดี๋ยวต้องไปถามลูกชายก่อนครับอันนี้ขออนุญาตลูกชายมาแข่ง
เพราะว่าในช่วงแรกๆก็เห็นรับส่งลูกชายตลอดเลยเนาะ
ตลอดเวลาครับมีลูกคนแรกก็อยากจะให้เวลากับเขาเต็มที่คราวนี้ก็คืออีกแรงบันดาลใจหนึ่งที่มาครั้งนี้ก็คืออยากให้เขาเห็นครับว่าพอเขาอยู่บนรถเป็นยังไงแข่งรถเป็นยังไงอยากให้เขามีทัศนคติหรือว่าภาพดีๆกับมอเตอร์สปอร์ตเมืองไทยติดตัวไปด้วยครับ
เพราะฉะนั้นลูกไม้หล่นไม่ไกลต้น
อันนี้ต้องรอดู
อนาคตต้องมาลุ้นกันครับฝากถึงแฟนๆเลยครับพี่ไตรครับ
ก็สนามนี้สนามสุดท้ายนะครับยังไงปีหน้าเนี่ยรายการ TSS มีการเปลี่ยนแปลงหลายๆอย่างแน่นอนได้ข่าวมานะครับแล้วก็รถก็คิดว่าน่าจะเพิ่มขึ้นแน่นอนอยากให้ทุกคนติดตามชมรายการนี้ไปตลอดนะครับรายการดีๆมีมาตรฐานระดับโลกขนาดนี้นะครับ
ครับอิมครับ
ผม
ฝากถึงแฟนๆเลยครับ
ก็ฝากติดตามรถแล้วก็ติดตามทีมงานด้วยนะครับขอบคุณ
ครับขอบคุณครับแสดงความยินดีครั้งครับขอบพระคุณครับไตรธนิช ฉิมตะวันและอิมนัทนานเพียวทองคำนะครับและอันดับ1รักษาแชมป์ประเทศไทยได้นะครับกับ YK Motorsport โอ้โหสวัสดีครับเป็นอย่างไรกันบ้างครับวันนี้วันแห่งชัยชนะ
ก็ด ดีใจค่ะ แล้วก็ทำเต็มที่กันทั้งคู่ทั้ง
ครับ
เลสทั้งไม้แรกแล้วก็ไม้สองค่ะ
ครับ
ก็ขอบคุณมาก ๆ ที่ไม่มีอุปสรรคอะไรแบบเยอะแยะเกินไปที่จะแก้ไขอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ ก็
ครับ
โอเคค่ะ แฮปปี้กับผลงาน
โอ้สุดยอดเบฟครับ เป็นไงครับ
ก็แฮปปี้มากครับ เพราะว่าปีนี้เราก็ตั้งใจมาทั้งปีว่าเราอยากได้แชมป์แต่ว่าคะแนนมันค่อนข้างจะสูสีแล้วเรา
ครับ
ก็มีเรื่องยางแตกอะไรเงี้ยอยู่ตลอดก็ทำให้มันลุ้นแชมป์สนามสุดท้าย แต่ว่าก็วันนี้แคทขับดีมากๆแคทออกไปแคทแบบสู้มากแล้วก็
จริง
ใช่
จริงเห็นเลยบางลายดูอะไรกันแบบ
ใช่
ตลอดเวลา
เร็วมาก
เร็วจริง
ใช่
ๆ นะครับ เพราะฉะนั้นเครดิตนี้ก็ต้อง
ยกให้เลยครับ
ยกให้
สนาม
แคท
นี้
ด้วย
ยกให้เลยครับ
นะ แต่ก็อย่างที่บอกฮะเก่งทั้งคู่
ครับ
แล้วก็รักษาระดับได้ดีเลยนะครับกับการเป็นแชมป์ประเทศไทยเหมาะสมจริง ๆ นะครับสำหรับ YK Motorsport นะครับต้องแสดงความยินดีอีกครั้งหนึงครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบพระคุณครับขอบพระคุณครับเอาละฮะท่านผู้ชมครับความมันยังไม่หมดเพียงเท่านี้นะครับยังมีอีกเยอะเลยครับเดี๋ยวเราไปพบกับไฮไลท์แล้วหลังไฮไลท์เรามีฮอตแลปแล้วก็พิทวอล์กด้วยครับ
วันนี้พักได้เลย
And with that, we bring the opening half of today's coverage to a pause with what might have been the most dramatic of the races so far this morning. I think Scott's still with me. I'll bring him in case he is.
Yep.
But yes, my word. A championship battle that changed with every twist and turn and then critically ended up being affected by something that wasn't done by either of the two cars that were in play. Obviously, there was the controversy there after the pit stop. We haven't seen it quite yet because, of course, it came moments after they completed the compulsory stops. There was the 5-second penalty for track limits. We thought it got cleared in the pit stop, but apparently not. Then this, the moment that, well, was the first big change of the race, as of course that resulted in time penalty, Scott, with a late move at turn 5 being deemed not fair game.
Yeah, I mean that's the challenge, and that will be debated. There's more in that because not only is that going to be debated, but it's also going to be debated about the penalty in the pit lane as well. Either way, the battling went back on, and that was just pretty much a battle for lap times to the end of the race. From there, they went after it as aggressively as they could. Passerit Sombat probably had one of the most interesting races because of what he had to do to get through. Damage to the 38 car. Unfortunately, left it struggling to try and get back to the pit lane. And that would happen shortly after this moment down here as Abila's Land tried to get down the inside. He was just aggressive in the second half of the race, just cutting his way through the field. Race leader setting fastest lap times as he possibly could. He threw everything out. And the championship by our numbers was decided by about 1.2 seconds. But there's an additional 5-second penalty that's been added in there. Unfortunately for the pit lane, we believe that they've taken it in the pit lane. I guarantee they'll take that up with race control as well, because they would be saying, hey, we think we put this one in pit lane. So there'll be a little bit of debate over that. But regardless, a phenomenal race and aggressive one where these guys went racing in the middle of that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first half of the Thailand Super Series English language coverage for your final race day of the 2025 season. In 55 minutes or so, we get underway with the GT3 and GTM race. All of that streaming to come over on a new YouTube stream. Please check in with the YouTube channel to find out where the second half of today's racing actually will be. Dan Yeaman, Scott Rankin will be back on the other side of the lunch break.